Hi everyone, hopefully you're doing well again. Recovered from that fantastic sprinting last night at the Jamaica Championships, and obviously Grant Holloway as well in the US Championships. All those three men in the 110-meter hurdles were in blistering form. Tonight we start early. Again, I'm on the road. I'm doing double duty on both of these championships because we have to cover them. And currently, the Jamaica Championships on its way. The shot put is in progress there. I just see Thomas Dodd doing a put there. I'm not quite sure what the result on that is, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, lots to cover, lots to talk about. Tonight, in just a matter of another 10 minutes or so, we will see the preliminary round of the 200 meters for women at the Jamaica National Championships. Clearly, as well, I suspect by the we get to somewhere in another 2 hours or so. So this is a very long live for sure. We will see semifinals for the 100-meter hurdles at the U.S. National Championships. They also have the long jump final, the much anticipated 200-meter final that will feature Gabby Thomas, obviously, and sha'carri Richardson, who will be vying to be on that team as well. Abby Steiner, Prandini, the likes. We'll get into that. Also, semifinals of the women's 400-meter hurdles. We'll see the great Sydney McLaughlin. Shot put final for them as well, 10,000 meters. And the night closes out 8 minutes to 10 Eastern Standard Time with the finals of the 200 meters for men. So that's a lot of interesting stuff that will be on 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 the menu tonight. We'll get through much of what's happening in the Jamaica National Championships, and then we'll probably transition because of the timing of these two events today, making it much easier than our live last night. So we'll go through some of those stuff. We'll get also semifinals after the women's 200 meters completed preliminary rounds at the Jamaica National Championships, transition into the semis for men. There's also a long jump in progress, men's discus as well. A number of guys there looking to make the qualifying standards. Hopefully, if they get into the top three. There's also preliminary rounds for 100-meter hurdles. Obviously, that's exciting in Jamaica, that's exciting in America, and it's exciting everywhere. It's the most competitive event in all of track and field. And there will also be preliminary rounds for women in 400 meters. And so we'll get through some of those things. There's a lot of other things that's happening in the sport of track and field. I'll get to some of your comments in a second, and I thank you everybody for joining. First, let me see. Sonia's here. Hi, she's out of the blocks really fast. Thanks for joining. It's going to be a pretty long night. Hopefully, people can come in and out or stick around as best as you can. Obviously, like the video and so on. Yeah, so we'll get into some of that. There's also things that's been happening in Europe. In particular, we saw the Houston runner there, Louis Hincliffe, winning the British 100-meter title in 10.8 seconds in a negative win, minus 0.8 win. So somewhat of a headwind there. The track looked wet to me. I'm not quite sure. I wasn't following up on all of the conditions there. So that's there. There's also another update. As we know, yesterday, Jake Whiteman decided to take a medical exemption for British athletics. We also saw the Tajik Kambunji, the hurdler that's been having a spectacular year. She withdrew from the 100-meter hurdles at the Swiss National Championships. She's also gone super fast, 12.4 already this season. So it's a matter of precaution there. I suspect her medic is a precautionary move to make sure that she doesn't sustain any further damage leading up into the Paris Games. So that's that. Darren Neto won the British title in 100 meters into a minus 1.5 win, 11:24 seconds. And so interesting stuff happening across the world. As you know, many nation states have different procedures for selecting teams. Britain has a discretionary choice as well from their board and the selection committee rather, and so some athletes can take advantage of that. Places like the United States, you just have to finish top three, meet the standard, and that's it. They don't care who you are. There's no exemption, those type of things. So yeah, a lot of things going on. The German national record today as well. Ansa, which Owen Ansa running 9.99 seconds. So there's an interesting kind of mix of things going on. Not being able to watch everything, obviously, because a lot of other sports. And shout out to India if you're a cricket fan. They won the T20 World Cup today, which was really intriguing. At one point, it seemed like South Africa would win that. Also, European football, everything. So you can throw in other things. Obviously, we're going to do track and field for tonight. How you doing, Cheryl? Good evening from Antigua there. You know, I'd like to lay on one of those 365 beaches you have there, but I'm a bit busy at the moment. Yeah, so thanks, everyone. Just some shot put going on here. I think in the Jamaica National Championships. Earlier, there were, as you know, in the Jamaica National Championships, they're doing both juniors and seniors at the same time. So there were some, I think, semifinals earlier for 200 meters for juniors, and triple jump is also in progress at the Jamaica National Championships. You'll see uh, people there as well. So number of things tonight there. Clearly not as exciting for some people, but it's always exciting. Every event for me is exciting, but the sprints last night at the Jamaica National Championships were something to behold. The men in particular put the world on notice. You saw an oblique Seville on his PB again. You see Kishane Thompson showcasing that he might be the man to beat. Certainly looks like he will be the man to beat. And, you know, one of the things we talked about it, had a lot of excitement last night. The thing that really, when you put it in perspective for me, I was thinking about the performances. I just want to single out Thompson and Oblique. What we saw from Oblique was round after round in really good nick, coming back to back, running these 9.8s. And we saw the same for Thompson, who was able to run 9.8s, 9.8s, and then do the 9.7 and doing it comfortably, showing there's more to the tank. And that's one of the things you want to see and gauge you want to gauge that in terms of when you think about what athletes are capable of doing, because the sprints in particular are, you know, just around 90 minutes apart when you get from a semifinal to final. And so it's one thing to go and run a stellar time in the semifinal, but can you come back again, and that the level of fitness and the kind of shape you're in to deliver an equally same speed or even better. And that's going to count when we get to these 100 meters at the Olympics. And for any kind of sprint event like that, there's a short kind of a time around it. So it's always good to see 9.77, obviously spectacular time. It's probably the fastest time in 2 years for Thompson. And it's good to see a Jamaican back there. And it's a good moment for the sport, because what we saw last weekend at the U.S. National Championships, Lyles, Kung Fu, Kenny, Fred Curley coming back, showcased that some interesting stuff is happening there. Then Jamaicans are able now to come back with a Thompson, a Seville, obviously a Blake as well. You know, they're making their mark there. 3 quality guys. Then we think about a Ferdinand Omanyala, who I'm not quite sure how well he will be at the in Paris. Usually some of his spectacular times. Prior to that, had the fastest time in the world, 9.79, but obviously at altitude. But yeah, I think that's one of the interesting things that we're seeing, some interesting times there. Noah Elias for sure. You know, no Kristen Coleman, obviously, in the flat 100 meters. And then we start to see Andre de Gas running yesterday. Nothing spectacular. No one, not going sub 10 yet. Obviously, the Olympic champion, Lamont Marcel Jacobs, have gone 9.92 this season as well. He looks like he's running into some form of form in terms of not having injury. What will that do come the Olympics? We'll see. So there is a lot to look forward to, and I'm excited for all of these things. Let me get to some of your comments. Cheryl says everybody and their dog having their trials. Yeah, it's that type of year. You have to do it now. Oftentimes you go as late as you can. for some people in order to, usually there's a calendar period to do these things to make sure you get it done. Bless up yourself, Carlton. Same to you. Thanks for joining. Chris, how you doing, man? As an Australian sprinter in the 1970s, I watched this black man run these times effortlessly, while the Anglos, soon Caucasians, trains to be under 10, 20, 45. Yeah, it happens. The evolution of the sport. I also think, you get me a little philosophical here. There's a lot of things that have improved. Even since the 80s, right? And so we've had improvements in sports science in particular. Uh, Many athletes are full-time now, more less so before. There's a lot of things that go into it. The tracks are much better, obviously. Synthetic tracks came in the 70s, obviously, but the improvement on them, the spikes, all these things, you will get better timing and improvement in coaching and so on, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's where we are. But we'll get to that. Yeah, thank you, Sonia. 200 meters coming up. I just saw a shot of the great Sharika Jackson, who came in last night and won the 100 meters at the Jamaica Championships ahead of Clayton, who finally arrived, and also the great Shelley Fraser Price. And so this is preliminary round here. I suspect a lot of athletes won't show up. This look a little bit open for me, but there's Jackson, there's Morrison in the mix. There's Williams as well. Let me try and get up the results, so make sure the start list, so I get to see what's going on. Yeah. So the first heat will have, right. So it's only Kemba Nelson didn't start, Shasha Lee Forbes didn't start, and neither Tia Clayton. So what we have is it's just 4 women. There is Jodine Williams from Sprint Tech, formerly of St. Mary High, I believe. Dejanay Oakley, currently at the University of Texas. Sharika Jackson needs no introduction. The woman who has been hovering around the world record for the last few years. Hopefully she could find form at some point and get it. But if not, that's how it goes. And then Natasha Morrison as well. So those are your 4 women that will participate in the preliminary round of the women's 200 meters at the Jamaica National Championship. I suspect you will just see Sharika Jackson running a fairly decent curve and shutting it down. Yeah. It's probably going to be easy work for her. Is it? I have to look some more. Thanks everybody for joining. Don't forget to like the video. Right, so Sharika Jackson is out, and oh yeah, that's an easy curve there. Williams running good. Jackson's not doing anything but just like bouncing. I think she will win. Sharika Jackson will win this. Running really comfortably ahead of Dejanay Oakley. So that's 22.67 ahead of 22.77. And Williams 22.86. This is really comfortable running for the back-to-back world champion over 200 meters into a minus win. Obviously, Sharika Jackson, so serious pro at this. She has a lot of unfinished business, obviously, at the Olympics, having not qualified out of the first round in Tokyo. Certainly, her sights are on winning this. And were she to go to Paris and win the 200 meters, that would be 3 major titles on the bounce. And she's setting up herself nicely, especially when you think about the amount of times in the 21.4s and those times that she's been running. That really is pushing her very close to a status where we have. She's already in the all-time greats for the event now, but but securing a few more big medals could potentially cement her in a different category. But we can always judge that later. What's going on here? Okay, so we have the second one coming up in a second. A lot of athletes didn't show up, obviously, in the first event. Sometimes athletes, they enter into both events in the sense that they're hedging their bet. If they do well enough in the 100 meters and they're good to go, then they'll forego the 200 meters. I'd like to see who's starting here, because the starting lineup here has slowly Cameron, Downey, Shelley and Fraser Price, Berger, Moore, and Adeja Hodge is there as well. And also just from the BVI, as we mentioned yesterday, there's a bunch of people who are running at the Jamaica Championships because of they need their own national. They don't have the capacity to probably run a competitive national championship. So people in the NACAC region get an opportunity to participate at the Jamaica Trials. Obviously, they don't count towards anything except for their own standards they might be trying to accomplish. Let's see what we get there. I'm not seeing who showed up for the event yet. I don't think I see Fraser Price out there, but I'm not quite. The camera hasn't panned towards her as well. Okay, so slowly didn't start for sure. I think Fraser Price didn't start, and they're saying the BVI athlete RST hasn't showed up as well. All right, so what we're looking at here is Cameron, Downey, Berger, Moore, Hodge. That's what it looks like. I think you could get these information. I mean, I would anticipate you could get information like this much earlier to figure out whether or not people are starting. Adeja Hodge, good to see her. I just saw her on camera, obviously. Really super talented athlete as well. Let me get to any comments that I'm missing out here. Yeah, more heats to come, obviously. Tonight is the finals of, I'm not sure of what. You mean in the 200 meter finals for women and men at the U.S. National Championships. Yeah, there's going to be 400 hurdles tonight, semifinals at the U.S. Championships. We'll get into that. I'll get to that obviously once that comes up. How are you doing, Danny? Thanks for joining. I know we bubbling up to around 60-something people on the live. Don't forget to like. We only have, I think, 14 likes on the live right now. Help us out. All right, so they're just doing the introduction of athletes at the Jamaican National Championships here. This is this would be the second heat of the women's 200 meters. Come next week, guys, I'll be back at my regular spot. So, we'll be in Studio One then. All right, and after this, we'll get the semifinals for the men's 200 meters. So there are preliminary rounds this morning, but we'll get to see that. So they're in the blocks. They're out there. Adeja Hodge looks good as well, the British Virgin Islands athlete. Berger is looking really smooth as well from university. So Berger is going to win that. Hodge is fighting hard. Ashanti Moore is going to come in third. And flash time 22.88, but official time 22.90 into a minus 2 headwind there. That's big win there. Adeja Hart second. Obviously, she's not a Jamaican athlete. Ashanti Moore third, 23.19. Cameron 23.75 and Downey 23.76. Berger looks pretty comfortable coming down on the home stretch. It's not a particularly fast time, but also running into a headwind, so but does the job. Top 2 goes through for sure. So that means Berger and Ashanti Moore they get the automatic spot. Yeah. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, Shelly didn't run. I think she only entered. I think as I was mentioning at the top of the hour, I think many athletes just enter both events in the sense that something may happen to them. There was never any intention, from what I gather and the people I've talked to, that she was going to double, and we couldn't anticipate her doubling, especially at this age, and especially given that she's been, she had a bigger injury last year at the end of the Budapest World Championship, and we hardly saw her. Well, she didn't really run until a week before the Jamaica National Championship. So yeah, so Shelley was listed, but she wasn't going to run. I think if she didn't make the team last night, you may have seen her out here, but having gotten on the team, I think she may fine. I'm seeing Brianna Williams here. See, she's probably trying to see if she can get on an individual team. Who knows? To run at the Olympics, as mentioned before, if you have to run 22:57, that is the qualifying standard for men. For women, rather 20.16 for men. So, and there's no opportunities left for anybody to meet the standards after this week, and this is the last weekend to get all of the qualifying standards. So athletes who don't meet standards will not be on the plane for their respective countries unless they are in the ranking system that allows them to get in. Unfortunately, for many of these events, there's enough people that probably already make it, so they probably won't be in. If you don't run 21.5, I can't see you 22.5. I can't see you getting a lane at the Olympics. It's just not going to happen. There's too many women that have done that already. So we're getting to the other. Yeah, so Shelly won't run, and yeah, remember this is her last Olympics as well. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Where are we now? We have in this preliminary heat 3 of 3 again. Top 2 automatically get through, and is it top 2? I think it's top 2. Or yeah, and then the 2 next best times. So we have Wallace, Richards, Drew Levy, Brianna Williams found herself out here. Thomas, who disappointed a bit uh, in the 100 meters, much better 200-meter runner. So we'll see what we get from her. Kevona Davis, been at the University of Texas for some years now, outstanding on a number of these relay teams there in the last few years. That also had included the likes of Julian Alfred, Yannick Daly there as well. Beyonce De Freitas and Shakora Wallace complete the lineup for the third and final heat. So we'll see what we get here. She's just waiting for athletes to be introduced, and then they'll get going. Yeah. Right. So athletes are on the track, as I mentioned, and they are bouncing around. I suspect they're introducing them to the crowd there. I can't really hear. I'm just watching the screen. All right. So they're in the blocks. They're getting in the blocks at the moment. Wallace didn't show up, so there's one less athlete there. I would anticipate Thomas to take this. She's a better 200-meter runner than than she than the rest, I suspect. Yeah. And so they're out. So really good start there. I think Brianna Williams looked like she was taking up the saga, but then Thomas running really well as well. Kivona Davis, they're coming off. Williams came off the turn first, but Thomas is going to overtake her. And Kivona Davis are stepping through right now. Will now pass also Brianna Williams. So Thomas will win this comfortably ahead of Kivona Davis. And seems like Brianna Williams winning the coming in third there. So it's 23.04 into a minus 1.1 win for Lane Tava Thomas. Kevona Davis second in 23.37 and Williams in third 23.54. So we'll get now the athletes that qualify, and I don't think Williams made it. So I think the athletes that will qualify are obviously Sharika Jackson, Dejanay Oakley, Berger. I think Williams should get in because Hodge is not a Jamaican, so she cannot qualify. Yeah, so I think Brianna might get the final spot. I think Kevona Davis gets through, Williams, Morrison, Ashanti Moore, and I believe Brianna Williams will get that spot. But we'll wait for official confirmation. What's going on with Brianna Williams, bro? Like for real, I don't know what's wrong. Okay, so I think Brianna is in a good space now, and thank you everybody for joining. Brianna switched camps in the middle of the year, so she went to John Smith in March. So I don't believe you can expect much. At least I had said this before the start of the national championships that you probably won't get enough out of Brianna Williams this year. Clearly, she left Atabolin, spent some time in Jamaica, had to leave. It didn't work out as they anticipated, and now she's in, good Southern California. There, training partners obviously as well with the great Marie Jose Tolu. I think we can only judge Brianna in a fresh start under this setup come next year. John Smith, one of the all-time great coaches. A lot of great athletes came to him. Female-wise, obviously, he has Talu right now, but he's done, Carmelita Jetta, Inga Miller. There's a bunch of them on that side. Clearly, men, he has a bunch of them as well. Maurice Green, Atabol, and John Drummond, if you go back some years. And there's other athletes that just not coming to mind off the top of my head right now. But so I think we'll see what we get there. I'm having some issues with the Television Jamaica stream here. I don't know what's that. Yeah, she left Atta sometime now. I mean, over a year, and then she was part of that setup in Jamaica with Michael Freighter and what's that guy's name who used to run as well, Gregory Little. And then if you've seen the space, there's a split with that camp, and she eventually left and found her way to John Smith. And I'd said it in the past too, even when Elaine was looking for a new coach, I often thought that John Smith would have been a good mix for him at the time. He didn't have any elite athletes at the time on the women's side. Obviously, he has Marie Jose Talou, not Perrick. Perrick is in my mind from 1992 and 1996, the great French athlete. But yeah, that would have been a good space if you really wanted to go to California. But yeah, so she did leave sometime now. Okay, so we're now doing good evening. It's gonna be a long live tonight. Good to see a lot of familiar faces joining, and put your thoughts in, get your comments in, participate in the poll. We are now in the semifinals for the men's 200 meters at the Jamaica National Championships. We're looking at the likes of McPherson in lane 1, Davidson 2, Jazeel Murphy 3. Brian Level, who ran went sub 10, made his way on that Olympic team clearly in the relay pole, I would imagine. Michael Campbell, Cameron Neal, Javari Thomas, and Dakers are in ends for the 100 meters here. Okay, so those are the athletes there for the semifinal. So top two in these three semifinals automatically get into the final, and the two best are the two fastest times. So there's an introduction of athletes now. I'm just seeing Brian Level on screen, and there's Jazeel Murphy there. Oh, Jazeel Murphy has gone bald. It's interesting. And yeah, right now we're getting the Jamaica National Championships in full swing. There's 200-meter semifinal going on for men. The US stuff won't start until 7:30 Eastern Standard Time is when discus starts for the US, but the on the track events won't start until 8:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we get the semifinals of the women's 100 meters. That's going to be a cracker at the US National Championships there. We get to that in another hour or so. Yeah. Okay. All right. So they're in the blocks at the moment. I'll get to that in a second, Andre. I'll get to that in a second. All right, they're off, and it's hard. It's a very difficult. The angle these certain Jamaica guys do, hard to see who comes off. Looks like Brian Level's going to come off the curve first. I think he's looking comfortable. Sanjay Davidson struggling there. Level's going to win this really comfortable. So I'm waiting for the official results. Let me get the official results there. Brian Level, 20.53 ahead of Javari Thomas, 2070. Those are your two automatic qualifiers. 2095 for Davidson, and into a minus 1.3 win. Yeah. Come. Yeah. So this is the official results. Level 20.53, Thomas 20.7, and Davidson 2095, Campbell 2097, Murphy 21 flat, and there's not much to talk about after that. Let me get to some of your comments here real quickly. So, what do you think about Kishane Thomas? I mean, spectacular. That's the word for the day. More to come. I mean, leading up to the championships, there were interviews with Coach Stephen Francis, who you could see he was excited about the athlete in his own excitement. If he ever shows excitement, but the biggest thing with him with Kishane was the ability for him to stay healthy and to participate in training, and clearly he's done that. They figured it out, and he's dangerous right now, absolutely dangerous. On the grounds of what we saw last night, he definitely has a 9.74 or 5 in the legs, and potentially 970 with good conditions. So we'll see. There's really exciting stuff. In terms of Noah, I don't know. I mean, I think the Noah Lyles responding to what's happening in Jamaica or elsewhere, I think it's fine. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think if you go back to the 1990s or the 80s, track and field used to feel like boxing. The guys would hate each other. They would be really saying all sort of stuff. We're not at that level, but guys are throwing jabs and they're saying things. It's probably decent for the sport. I don't think he is upset. I mean, it may sound like he's throwing, not upset. I don't think he's hating or anything. He may have thrown in a couple of things here and there, like you should Hopefully they stay fit or so on. But it's good for the sport, right? It's good that they run well at their national championships, and the Jamaicans responded. We'll see what we get from Amaniala, from Marcel Jacobs, what we get from. I don't know if we'll, if there's if the British athletes can stay fit, we might get something there. What will Let's See Tobago do, right? There's a lot of questions. Can Akini Simbini be in the mix? We will figure this out soon. Yeah, he's still in the mix. I think the problem for Atto is that you can't coach and also do all of that television work. It's unfair to himself and obviously to the athletes. It's a full-time position, and I suspect he managed it. But at some point, when you have such a, a talent, you need someone who can provide undivided attention, not necessarily all the time there, but also thinking about coaching all the time. And if you're doing analyst work or you're doing other things, you're not thinking about coaching all the time. So it's fine. Noah's still a favorite for what? For the Not for the 100. I don't think he's the favorite for the 100 meters right now. Uh, I mean, you have to think Thompson's the favorite based on what we've seen. I think Seville can run much faster too. Uh, it's in the mix. It's easy. It's not. You can't really make the call. We'll see. Yeah, but I think we'll see what we get from the 200 meters at U.S. National Championships. That I think Noah starts the favorite still for 200 meters easily, but we may see something different. I don't know. Yeah, Kung Fu Ken is in good shape, but I don't think he's at that class to run a 19.3 or a 19.4 low. I could be wrong, but we'll wait and see. So wait, what? Say sweep the 200 in the Olympics. That's brutal, but nobody. I don't think the United States can sweep the 200 meters uh, at the Olympics, because I think unless Let's See Tobago ends up with an injury, or he's still obviously he lost his mom earlier this year. He's a very young lad, so how you respond to that is interesting. But there's not three people beating Tobago at the Olympics over 200 meters. I just can't see it. To be honest with you, I can't see it. But we'll get a chance. All of that will come. Cheryl is saying, Noah doesn't like that. We all do this in other sports. Are saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're gonna have the 200 meters. This is the second semifinal on the track currently. So there's Drummond Barrett, Taekwondo Tracy, Andrew Hudson. I'm intrigued to see what he does, if he can find form. Can he get back to a 19.8? There is Smith, Monfries, Sharp, and Sigri. Those are the athletes there. I'm waiting to see. Yeah, so there is Hudson. They're on the track right now. They're doing introductions, I suspect, in the stadium, and then we'll get a sense of what we got here. As a reminder, the first heat was won by Brian Level ahead of Thomas. Those are the two automatic qualifiers, 23:53 versus 20:53, sorry, 20:70 into a minus 1.3 win. So the win is definitely shaping in the different in the direction you don't necessarily want. But yeah, we'll wait to see what happens here. Really great to have everybody on the channel, and for supporting this, even though I'm in this kind of mobile location and as I do some traveling. But we will we have a lot of interesting stuff on the channel too, so don't you should always check it out, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share with someone if you think they might like this as well. All right, so they're in the set position, and they're off. It's hard to see who makes a stagger up. It looks like Hudson's making the stagger up. He's going to come off the turn in front of everybody and looking kind of comfortable. A little bit of arms going back a little bit too far than you would like, but he's going to win this comfortably. In in what looks like 20.59 for Andrew Hudson ahead of Smith 2077. And I think that might have been Michael Sharp in third, but I'll wait for official confirmation. So yeah. Yeah, I'm just seeing the replay again. Yeah. Hudson went well. He got off the turn. He ran it fairly decent. And that's also into a minus 1.5 win. So official result, Hudson 20.59, Smith 20.77. Those are the two automatic qualifiers. Michael Sharp 20.89. Those are the three men under 21 seconds into a minus 1.5 win. I'll get to some of your comments in a second. All right, so let's see where we are here. Clip to send. Are you doing? I'm scared that Shariko won't be able to hit 21.4 this year. I think Gabby got it this year. You mean in terms of the title or running 21.4? I am not sure you need to run 21.4 to win at the Olympics. I don't know if 21.4 can be run on that Paris track that night anyway, but we'll get to that. 21.4 might not be necessary. I don't know. I think it's still early to call where we'll get from what we'll get from Sharika Jackson. I mean, I think that she's in a good space, coming into this championships. The aim is to win. She can run a couple more diamond leagues if she needs sharpness before the Olympics. There's the Paris Diamond League, there's the one in London as well. And the Paris Diamond League is in, I think it's in, is it going to be, it's not in Paris. It's not in Stade de France. So I think it's in maybe Parc de Prince. I have to check. No, actually, it can't be in there. But it's yeah. So it's the last warm up there. So if they need to kind of sharpen stuff, I suspect Sharika Jackson will go into the championships in at least maybe 21.6 shape, 21.5 shape, hopefully 21.4. I think if you are in a 21.4 shape, then the gold medal is yours. There's no question. I don't think you're gonna get much people going better than that. 21.6 could be dicey because then the likes of a Gabby Thomas can run that, or might be able to run, or will be in shape to potentially run that. We'll see. It's too early to say for me, especially knowing how they prepare Jackson in particular. We'll get a sense. Where are we now? Shireen is saying Bree running 10s. Yeah, I don't know if she really wanted to run this 200 meters. To be honest with you, it's an interesting question. I'd love to hear what John Smith has to say there. They started already. Oblique is gun shy. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more. Maybe I missed something there. Cheryl is agreeing with Clip there about the Gabby thing. So you think Gabby? So are we gonna be? Are we sure you're saying Gabby will win it this year? Will Gabby run 21.4 this year? What are we saying? And let's see where we are. I think what time is the 400-meter hurdles? I think we just put that up, right? Yeah, 8:43, and sha'carri might have something to say. Yeah, we'll see tonight. She's gonna run fast. How fast can she go is an interesting question. 21.5, 21.6 win at Paris. So the athletes are in the track, and the youngster actually, Gary Card, is running here. Who ran? He's 17, I think, and he ran that fabulous time last night. They're out there. Gary Card's running. It's hard. I don't know why they show this angle here. Yeah. I don't know who this is, but Gary Card is coming in. That looks like Reed leading. Reed is in front. He's looking to his right, ahead of the 17-year-old Gary Card. So it looks like 20.60 to 20.72, minus 1.1 meters per second, the wind reading. So Chavoy Reed wins this ahead of Card 20.72. Those are the two automatic. We'll get a official confirmation here. Palmer 20.91 as well. Carr 20.99. But good run there from the 17-year-old. Fantastic last night for Gary Card. As if you guys remember, he comfortably won the 100-meter title yesterday in 10.07, very close to that under 19 world record, under 18 world record rather, ahead of DeAndre Daly. He's a very serious, he's a super talent. So yeah, so that's the end of the semifinals for the 100 meters, 200 meters, I'm sorry. Let me get you the updated qualifying stand. The guys who have qualified for the final, I think. So we have Brian Level, 20:53 goes in with the fastest time ahead of Andrew Hudson, Reed, Thomas, Card, Smith, Sharp, and Palmer. Those are your finalists for the 200 meters tomorrow. All right, let me get back to the comments. That's right there. What's going on? Stop hyping on sha'carri. She won't win. She will get a medal, though. Be surprised you might get an upset in the 100 meters. Yeah, I don't think sha'carri will win the 200 meters unless she drops something super impressive tonight that changes my mind. Yeah, she probably starts favorites for 100 meters, but it's still early. Sonny, the aim here is to qualify exactly. I know people and fans. I was talking to my brother today, and I was saying, after the U.S. trials, a lot of people are like hoping for like a immediate response by the Jamaicans or other people. But just because we want the sport of it, or are you thinking that what you want is excitement? But the key thing is to just qualify for Paris. You don't want to run your fastest time tonight and then can't replicate when it matters most. Gambit Visualization says Sharika silver medals awaiting her. sha'carri 100, Gabby 200. Sharika is not in 2023 shape. Don't bother with what Francis says. Okay, I mean, I take your point. We wait and see. I think it's still early to make that call, obviously. Yeah, but we'll wait to see. Cake Balls in the house, like up the stream. Thank you very much. I second that. Certainly second that tonight. All right, so that's the end of the 200 meters there at the Jamaica National Championships for men. There will be some preliminary hurdles for under 20 girls, and then the senior women will run the 100-meter hurdles preliminary rounds. Obviously, this is super competitive for Jamaica, and we'll just have to wait and see. This is the most competitive event in all of track and field, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I think heat number 1 has Nemhard, Salmon, Wilson, Thompson, Akira Nugent, Daniel Williams, obviously the world champion, Simpson, and Karika Hill, who is ridiculously talented in the second heat. Brittany Anderson, coming back from that injury, silver medalist from the Tokyo Olympic Games. At her best, can definitely do 12:20, but she had surgery, trains in Italy. We'll see what we get. Megan Tapper, bronze medalist, the only woman to have won a medal in 100-meter hurdles at the Olympics for Jamaica. Twice back-to-back world championships in Oregon and in Budapest, missing out on fastest qualifying times, just outside of it. Unfortunate. Amoy Brown, Roswell, who might be interesting, Chatfield, Burton, and Janique Brown, who I think is a talent as well, but how fast she can go, we'll have to wait and see. So that will be the women there after the girls do the under 19, under 20. So Jamaica obviously is mixing their senior and national championships at the same time. And yeah, let me get back to some comments. Let's see what's going on. Truth, what's going on? Nothing in athletics is guaranteed to anyone. One false start and you're out. Yeah, it's a cruel sport. It is a very cruel sport. Injury. We've seen the same kind of stuff there. Yeah. And it's tough sport, guys. I think Mo rather is out of the world championship. I mean, when you think about it, I want to say something while we have a little lull here. And all in the game and I were. He's not on the live tonight, but hopefully he comes in later on. But we were. Where can you watch a stream? A stars. You have to, if you're watching the Jamaican National Championships, you need a subscription to One Spot Media. That's the only way I know. I don't know where else you can watch it. I don't think, unless you're watching like a stream that's illegally sourced at the moment. But anyway, back to what I wanted to say as well. We're gonna miss so we're gonna get new champions at the Olympics and women's side in 100 meters and 200 meters because Elaine Thompson won't be there to defend our title. We're gonna get a new 400-meter champion because Shawnee Miller-Weber, for some reason beyond our understanding, decided to go and run the 200 meters as well at the Bahamian National Championships, and because of that picked up an injury and was unable to run the final of the 400 meters. I'll get to that in a second. And obviously we won't have we'll have a new 800-meter champ as well, because I think Mo will not be at the Olympics running 800 meters. She might be running some relays, but definitely not an individual event. Back to Shawnee. I'm very surprised at the move they did to decide to run both 100, 200 and 400 meters at the Bahamian National Championships. The question is why? Because she came back and wasn't really running a lot on the circuit. We saw her at she ran at the World Relays. I didn't get a chance to see all of that. I saw some clips. I was in Paris at the time. But it's not a normal season now. Why kind of work around the 200 meters and then to pick up that injury now, and now you definitely can't defend your title? It's a tough one. I'm baffled by it. I'm trying to think through that. It's tough. So we won't see Shawnee Miller-Weber. I don't think given what we saw, it wasn't clear she was going to win at the Olympics. I think a lot of people have to probably run some low 48s to guarantee a medal. We'll see. Clearly, Paulino is going to say something about where the medals go. I think Adalike might step up in some interesting ways, having this kind of great season with Coach Flo setting up the training program to make sure that they're ready in time for the Olympics. Kazmarek. I mean, it's interesting times in women's 400. Maybe Nikisha Price could be in the mix, depending on if she's still fresh after this long season. There are a bunch of Americans coming to, which is interesting, different from what we thought. But for Shawnee not to be there is really tough. It's hard. That three-peat won't happen. And it shows you how difficult it is to stay in the sport. So that's where we are there for they're setting up the track right now for the hurdles for the women, or well, not the women right now, but they're setting up for the under 20 girls for the Jamaica National Championships. And then immediately after that, they'll go to the senior women. And after that, there will be preliminary rounds for the guys. And then for the under 19 guys, and then they'll go to the 110-meter hurdles for men, which is pretty good too at the Jamaica National Championships. I'm intrigued to see what Omar McLeod will do. It clearly looks like he's healthy and enjoying his hurdling again. And this is a really top class event worldwide. We want to see what kind of shape Hansa Parchment is in. We know he's in probably great shape. We'll see what we'll get from him. Defending champion. Rashid Broadbell. It's tough to make this Jamaica national team, but we'll wait to see what we get here. The US team last night, as you saw, was a fantastic 110-meter hurdles at the US National Championships. Full extent of the legal win, and 12-8, and other two guys getting on the team also going sub 13 seconds. That was an outrageous run last night, if we're being honest with yourself. It's really great final last night from Grant Holloway. Freddie Crittenden, I like him a lot. Hurdling technique needs to improve, but found his way on the team. Daniel Roberts running 12.96. Imagine running 13.03 and you can't represent your team, your country at an Olympic Games. That's outrageous. Even 13.09, 13.15. Those are times that you would never in your wildest dream believe would not get you on a team. And so such is the depth of the Americans there. We'll get to see what the Jamaicans will do here. This I think is an interesting space for hurdling, both men and women. Looks like there's some long jump going on as well. We're just having a little lull. Also, guys, at some point I will try to get something to eat. So if you see me eating on the live, don't worry about it. I'm traveling. It's one of those things. Yeah. So as soon as they get this hurdle stuff going, we'll have more things to talk about. Feel free to put anything in the chat that you want to talk about as well. I mean, there's some good stuff here going on at different championships around the world. I'm really chuffed for Louis Hincliffe as well. 10.18 into a negative headwind, and into a headwind rather, and yeah, interesting guy, coached by Carl Lewis, clearly. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to this 200 meters tonight. It's gonna be really interesting, really interesting. What we get from that, I don't even know. I think the women will be really. I mean, Gabby said in her post-race interview that she wasn't planning on running that fast, but you have Mays, you have Clark, Tamara Davis, Prandini, Abby Steiner, Sha'carri Richardson, Mackenzie Long, Gabby Thomas, and Brittany Brown. It's going to be tough to make this team. It's going to be tough. I think for sure. I think obviously Gabby and Richardson, I think will make the team for sure. I want to see what Mackenzie Long can pull. Can Abby Steiner come back and run something spectacular? Will Brittany Brown pull out something? Tamara Davis, will she do something? It's going to be interesting. The long jump for the Jamaican men I think is in progress as well. Let me see if I can get some results on that. I think that might be in progress. That is a strong event for the Jamaicans. Really good jumps. When you look at the American men, it was pretty pathetic in terms of no one had the qualifying standard. So that was really a disappointment, thinking about America as a land of long jumps. Your Ralph Bostons, you can go back to even Jesse Owens. You can go back to the guys who used to do the broad jump back in the day before it transitioned to the long jump. Bob Beeman, Carl Lewis, the greatest ever, Mike Powell, come back even into the bunch of guys. And for them not to be in the mix is really interesting. And I think Jamaica has three guys capable of of jumping really far and potentially getting medals at the Olympics as well. Let me see where we are here. What's going on, Agra? The U.S. track is fast, so it's not surprising that Holloway ran fast. I mean, yeah, we have a fast track video coming out at some point. It's always an interesting contention. Oregon is the surface is interesting. It's a really good surface, but also Eugene as a stadium allows for good wind to come in. When you look at on the average the wind that comes in, most of it is it's always tailwind most of the time. You get some negative wind, so a couple of times you might have things. You hardly get stuff hovering around zero. And also when you go to a national championships, you have to be in super form. You have to remember that those guys could be at their best. They may not even get better. They just have to try and sustain that coming at the Olympics because it's hard to make that team. So that's one way of thinking about it. Lala Lan is saying, do we have a shot at medaling in the 110 meters? 110 meter hurdles. Good question. I'm going to start with a cliche answer. It's an obstacle race, so anything can happen. I think the short answer to that is yes, but it's difficult, I think I've said this a number of occasions, so bear with me if I've said it before and you've heard it on the live. In Grant Holloway, I think he's the greatest we've ever seen to the first 8 hurdles. After that, if you're in the mix with him, you could put pressure. He doesn't really know what pressure feels like because usually no one is catching him. So you go back to the moments where he's lost these races after being way out there. Obviously, the most significant one occurred in Tokyo when Hansa Parchment took him down. But he lost a similar race to a Broad Bell once. He's lost a few times where once you catch up on him, if you're in the mix with him, something happens at hurdle 8 onwards, I think. But he's overwhelming favorite there. Freddie Crittenden is really running really good. It's not a smooth technique as you might want. Daniel Roberts, ridiculous. But we'll see what we get, obviously, because I think Hansa Parchment will come to the Olympics, hopefully, if he makes the team in good form. Broad Bell, I think those two guys in particular are capable of doing stuff. Omar McLeod is back. He's run a 13:25 this season. To make the Jamaica team in the 110 hurdles will require some super fast times. Maybe not as fast as the US times, but so I think you could be in the mix. I'm not handing out the medals yet. I mean, I suspect if you want, there's usually a safe bet in Holloway, but then there was 2021, so we'll see. The Italian guy really is an interesting guy too. Simonelli, I like him a lot. I think what's his name, Lorenzo. He's gone really close to. Is very low 13s this season as well. So we'll find out. That's my roundabout way of saying that. Don Patrick, I think J 4x4 qualified tomorrow. They better. They need a better 22:59:11, I think. Yeah, thanks, Sonia. Yeah, I'll start eating some stuff. Gambit visualization. What is your opinion on the GOAT of female sprinting? 100 and 200. Elaine Shirley, Furojo, Ken Sha'carri, Sharika B in that conversation after the Olympics. No to Sha'carri for sure. 200 probably for if Jackson wins in the Olympics, definitely in the conversation all the time. Okay, so let me break this down. Greatest 100-meter sprinter ever, career-wise, everything. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce for me. By far, the back-to-back at the Olympics, that would be the third woman to do it after Wyoming Tyus did it, then Gail Devers, then Sharika, then Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, then obviously Elaine has done it. 5 world championships plus Shelly also has bronze, silver, Olympics. That is ridiculous. And then she has the 1060 and lived in the 1060 for a while. So hovering close to these super fast elite times. I don't buy the 1040. I don't buy the Flojo record because it's a windy night in Indianapolis. I don't care about what we might want to say about her or anything. I just don't buy that one. I buy the 200. I don't buy the 100. I've been on record saying that. So for me, I think she's the GOAT there. I still think the greatest American this touches people somewhat. Evelyn Ashford for me is still the best American 100-meter sprinter. Even better than Gail, even though Gail has the back-to-back Olympics. Evelyn, I think world record is probably should have held on a lot longer if we didn't get that stuff in Indianapolis in '88. So that's my take on that. And this is before we would go back to like the great Tiger Bells from pre the electronic clock stage. It's really different cinder track. It's also and dirt track. So it's hard to kind of judge on that. I think combined together, 1, 2, probably Elaine edges everybody, but the problem with that is she only has medals at the Olympics, which is not a problem, but it is, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. 200-meter wise, still, I think Alison Felix has the best 200-meter career for me, just ahead of VCB, who's gone back to back at the Olympics. But now Sharika coming in the mix at some point. I mean, there's a moment where Felix was winning everything. Obviously, you look at a 21.7 and you say it's not that fast, but we have to think. The times don't. I always value the quality of the medal a lot because that is kind of easier to work with because a lot of things change, spikes change, things change. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah. What else? You gotta watch my video to know this. I live in America, yeah, but I grew up in Jamaica, but I left many years ago. Yeah, so yeah. Uh, so saying gold status requires duration. It does not matter how good you are. 2 major championships cannot qualify anyone for being exactly. So sha'carri could potentially get there, but it's too early. You can't crown any goat. And in my books, I think goat is the impact on the sport. Sometimes it's even if you change the sport, which is in an interesting way as well, right? Like you think about Edwin Moses for me is still the GOAT of 400-meter hurdles. But he never went sub 47. But he had that long period and he also revolutionized how many steps people make. And then also he was running on these bouncy synthetic tracks that just came in, not the same ones that we get now. And so it's hard to really compare across eras as well. But that's how I kind of think about it. Yeah, but yeah. Clip Flojo. Yeah, there was a hurricane in Indianapolis that night. So forget what people might want to say about if she was on something. We have nothing to say about it. I can't go on that. But I think even IWF at the time, no World Athletics now had a report on it. They could have done something. They didn't do it. Yeah, that's how I think. Thank you for saying that, Gamma. I personally feel Sheldon is going to do something crazy at the Olympics. She can run 10.65. She's in good shape. Season openers are always a bit slower than usual shape. You know what she did in 2019. I don't think she's in 19 shape for sure. She's definitely not in 20. When was Oregon? 21? Yeah. No. 22? Yeah. I mean, she's struggling with something. We know that. How fast she can get to, she has time. If she's injury free and they can whip her into shape, I think the key that's going to be there for Shelley, and we saw it last night, is where the fitness capacity is to repeat the fast times. So you have to qualify in a semi-combat 90 minutes, and also at her age, it could be challenging. But we're talking about really the question, you had to look at these Jamaican women and say, you really allow her to get on the team? Like seriously? you're thinking about how long she's in the sport. I mean, I know she's like phenomenal, and but you always, that's why I always say she can be beat. Yes, get her off the podium is another thing, and then she really shows up when it's necessary. So I think she might come into the championships in great shape. Look what she did last year. Last year was ridiculous. That's why I said even Talu uh, should be disappointed, and a bunch of other women that allowed Shelley and Fraser Price, who was struggling with a knee injury, barely running, to come run a couple rounds in Budapest and find her way on the podium. That's the kind of superstar that woman is. So different stuff. Who's the goat woman? Who's the goat woman 400 hurdles in it? Well, I mean, right now it's Sydney, right? Yeah, she's done it. I think this year, I think Sydney comes back this year, wins the 400 meters hurdles. If she can do that, I mean, Femke has a lot to say about it, but if she can do that, then she's set up the legacy right. I mean, because she have transcended the sport, first woman to go sub 51. Plus the medals now will be back to back Olympics. The world, there's also other medals. Yeah, I think she's setting up herself for that. But it's always, there's other things. Uh, Fraser Price has the best record for. Yeah, oh yeah, I think. Well, yeah, so I like to break it down. Combine, you're talking something else, but by ourselves on by 100-meter alone, I think it's easy. Yeah, Sonia was saying, yeah, Moses was so good. Yeah, Edwin was special. I mean, I'm too young to remember much of that, but I'm a student of the sport. I watch a lot of old stuff too. I mean, he had an unbeaten record for how many years? It's crazy. And yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with the start, but she needs to work on her acceleration, top end speed, as we know she can do. Yeah, she should be fine. She's a troubling year for Sherry, for Fraser Price. They would have opened up earlier if they could. There's no question about it. They should have run a couple more races if they could. I think they pushed it as far as they could. Then she comes into the championship. They didn't want her to come to the championship without a little rust. Yeah. Tunnel vision is saying Shelley isn't medaling. At this stage, it's hard to see her doing it, but who can count her out? Yeah. 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 So as I said, guys, I may do a little eating on you. And then Shaw is like, Shelley is definitely going to medal for Paris for sure. You guys are something else here. Yeah. I don't know what I'm working with here. I ordered some food. Uh, yeah. The women's hurdles are on the track. I apologize. I was talking to you guys and that we didn't cover the under 20 girls, but I'm gonna go straight into the 100-meter hurdles for the women. Nemhard, Salmon, Wilson, Yannick Thompson, Akira Nugent, super talented, super talented. Daniel Williams, who surprisingly, obviously, as a two-time world champion, I don't believe she's ever run at the Olympics for Jamaica. Someone can check me on that, but I don't think she has. And then Marissa Simpson. So that's the lineup for the first. I think there's only two heats here. So top three will advance, and the next two best times. Yeah, there's only two heats, I believe. Yeah, yeah. So that's where we are. Let me see what Agro Valley from. Shelly and Fraser Price is not in shape that she was in 22. I would like her to be in the 100-meter final for Paris, but she needs to run some 200 to get herself in better shape. Yeah, I don't know if she has to do that, to be honest with you, but she has to work on the speed endurance. I know what you're saying there. That's why yeah, but we'll see. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Jackson ran earlier today. Really comfortable. It was a jog in the park. We'll see. All right. So Daniel Williams is on screen. As I said, guys, I'll be eating and watching as well, so don't get offended. Uh, I'll do a quick mute. So yeah, once I get into blocks, I'll talk about the 100-meter hurdles here. But give me a second. All right, they're in the blocks. Well, they're going in the blocks right now. And I'm having some. Is this some Cuban food? Yeah. Mhm. All right, so their officials walking across. They're going to be in a set position right now. Top three qualify. And a clean start there. And look at and Wilson attacked their hurdle first, but Akira Nugent is coming and Daniel Williams. Akira Nugent is going to win this comfortably. Daniel Williams is with her. Oh my, super fast. That is 12.46 official time into a minus 1.1 win. Ahead of Williams, 12.57. And Akira Nugent looks in great shape right here, ladies and gentlemen. Wilson, 12.76 in third. So those three automatic places there. Wilson came out really well. When I see the replay, I get a good better look. But she looked like she came out well. But immediately Nugent got into a running and Williams. Let's see. Yeah, I think Wilson got out clean. Yeah, leading for a while, and then Akira Nugent stepping, Daniel coming in as well. A little bit efficient, somewhat efficient in their hurdling technique from both of these women here. I don't think they're overextending themselves. So a lot of focus there on Akira Nugent's face, but shutting it down at the end, I think. Very good run there by Akira Nugent and Daniel Williams. 12.46, 12.57, 12.76 into a minus 1.1 win. That's your first semifinal, I think, or prelim or whatever they're doing here. I think is it straight semifinals? Yeah. Yeah. All right. And so the next heat will have Hill, Brittany Anderson. I'm really intrigued to see what we get from her. Hopefully, she can round her way in. Then there will be Megan Tapper, the Olympic bronze medalist, Amar Brown, Roswell, Demisha Roswell, uh, Chatfield, Burton, and Brown again. So that's where we are. Let's see what's going on here with some of these quick comments here. Do you think Sharika will be available for the 4x4? Possibly. It depends. It depends on a number of things, but I, I can't see why not. She loves to run that event. It just depends on. It, I would think so. We'll wait to see. It depends on what kind of shape she is in and all that stuff after running the 200 meters or so. Definitely not for. You mean just for the final, but not for the opening round. No, no chance. Uh, Agro Valley saying, I really would love for Nugent to make it to Paris. I would love to as well. I mean, the quality of women 100-meter hurdling is really high class. Jamaica has a bunch of top athletes. The Americans, Europeans are doing well as well. You know, yeah. Noah Elias is the clear favorite for 200 men. I don't feel so. There's anyone currently in the world who can beat him at this distance. If we are lucky enough, we may see 19.3. Yeah, we might. I want to see what Let's See Tobago is in. Why I say that is because Tobago this year, fantastic 300-meter world best. Then he ran that 44 in the 400 meters, looking good. I think it's just a matter of what we get from him as well. Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'm eating a little bit too. I'm seeing Megan Tapper. So once that gets into the blocks, I'll definitely uh kind of call the race. Aggressing. Heat time one for Nugent is comparable to the best for the US female. Yeah, I mean that's pretty fast there from Akira Nugent, kind of pushing up near her personal best. So she's coming into the championships in great shape, and we know she is fantastic. So she's, I mean, I maybe Karika Hill is the most talented of the lot of all the Jamaicans. Obviously, Hill might not be at the level yet, but talent-wise, in terms of ceiling. At one point, I thought Brittany Anderson would have is, but maybe Nugent has more talent. I mean, I don't even know, right? Like, it's hard to say. Uh, I will borrow some words from Lance Whitaker. Shelly Fraser Price has nothing to prove. She just needs to take her last ball, and the worst is medal on her. Uh, yeah. Second, there's nothing to prove. First of all, the fact that she's going to the Olympics is an indictment on a lot of people. You know, like you know how special you have to be to go to an Olympics at that age, and also from a country that produces phenomenal 100-meter sprinters over time. The women they never are out of the mix. They always have a bunch of women that are knocking on the door. You have to be a ridiculously outrageous talent for sure, but also your commitment to the sport. Because the challenge for people in the sport, why people drop out sometimes, is that they don't have motivation anymore. And you could have, she would have been okay if she stopped 5 years ago, 7 years ago. What to prove? Not a thing. It's just spectacular. Women are getting in the blocks. I'll get back to some of those comments in a second. Megan Tapper walking into the blocks right now. I mean, the angles that we're getting here, I don't want to be disrespectful, but how is it helpful for you to be showing me underneath the hurdle? I can't see anything. Like, it's not particularly good. We need a side on angle as well. But anyway, that's I shouldn't be complaining. At least I get to see good athletics. They're in the blocks. They're going to be in set position, and they're out here. That's a good running there from Megan Tapper. That looks like Roswell running good as well. Brittany, I don't not really seen Brittany Anderson, but it looks like Yannick Brown at the end as well. So that is a win for Megan Tapper, 1271 into a minus 0.6 win ahead of Roswell, 1276. Janique Brown, 1283. Amoy Brown, 1286. Brittany Anderson, 1293. Clearly still just coming back from the injury, not in any kind of shape. Maybe she might be in much better shape on the Diamond League circuit later this year. Megan Tapper looks like she's grimacing. I don't know if it's just a face of like I did it or she felt something. Roswell looked really decent here, to be honest with you. Roswell looking good, and then Janique Brown coming down there, uh, coming in the mix. So it's Tapa 1271, Roswell 1276, Brown 83, and Brown 86. So not as fast as the first one, but the goal here obviously is to get into the top three and to advance. So good there by Megan Tapper. So that's the end of those. And so the qualifiers are Akira Nugent, Daniel Williams, Megan Tapper, Roswell, Demisha Roswell, Anika Wilson, who looked good in the first heat, Janique Brown and Amoy Brown, and Paula Salmon. Those are your qualifiers. And Brittany Anderson at 1293, just out of that. Unfortunate for her, but probably a little bit too early for her in the recovery stage. Interesting, but she was in it. Was she not in Italy when she was? I can't remember. I have to check on that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see where we are. I missed a bunch of your comments. I think you're saying what time is the 200-meter finals running? For the US Championships, that's later on. I think, okay, thanks. My producer already put it on the screen. And I don't know the answer to that, but life in Italy seems good. But didn't she go with him? I have to check on that. Where's all in the game when you need him? He always has these things handy. My memory is not as good as it used to be. All right, the U.S. Championship will start up soon too. At 8:04 on the track, I have to put on another stream to make sure I'm covering their 100-meter hurdle semifinals. That should be a cracker. I just want to make sure I don't forget that too. And yeah. So yeah, don't forget to like the video. I'm gonna eat a little bit more and then get back to you guys. Yeah, they're in Italy. I think, is it in Padova? I believe it's in Padova or somewhere in Italy there. If you've ever been to Padova, it's very nice. Just, not too far from Venice, not too far from Verona. Yeah. Yeah, there are. I'm seeing Chad right here. I haven't talked to him in a while. But men's discus currently being, the men are being announced there. I want to make sure I get some results on the field events earlier today. Okay, so uh, for those of you who haven't been following, Shanika Ricketts won the triple jump in 1450 ahead of Akila Smith 1444, Imani Oliver 1369, and Kimberly Williams 1367. Shante Foreman 1325, and Rihanna Phipps 1315. Obviously, you have Ricketts who is capable of going 15 meters. She's done that, and hopefully she can find good form. Triple jump, the qualifying standards 1455. That's not a problem for obviously Ricketts, but the it's a challenging, it's an interesting event this year. There will be a new Olympic champion over triple jump because the great Yulimar Rojas ruptured her Achilles earlier this year, and so we've lost her for sure. Yeah, and I'll try to keep you up. Let me see. Let me get a quick update on the long jump if I can see. Excuse me. Is this the right one? I'll look to see for that in a second. Or maybe this is just the, yeah. Yeah, maybe there's no. I'm not seeing any results at the moment for the long jump. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not results. I don't think. Yeah. All right. Let's see where we are with the comments. Okay. All right. So there's some discuss here. The angle isn't great right now. Even though you're inside of it, it's still not great. Okay. That's like 50 something meters, it looks like. It's hard to see. What would be good if they could have like get the measurements into the camera and we'll see what's going on. What track for all? Why is Flojo mentioned in the gold conversation over Evelyn Asher and Marilyn Ati? And let's not forget Ati had those medals in 200 in the first six. I mean, because people I actually don't know the answer to this. I know the answer. I mean, there's no. I don't know if there's a real answer. Well, partly, I think the world records matter. People are always enamored by times. The world record has lasted that long, and the world records came on the Al, right? She had left Bobby at the time, and she has some medals at what in Rome in '87. Is it Rome in '87? And but the medal haul is not long, so she didn't stay for long enough for me. So that's why I have a difficult time with the gold conversation. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't even know. For me, I like Evelyn for one for US 100 meters, then probably Gail too. I mean, I don't know, right? It's an interesting question. Uh, yeah, if I rank 200 meters athletes of all time, I still have Alison Felix as one overall in my ranking. At VCB, Veronica Campbell Brown, maybe Merlene starts to come there, but in the conversation there as well. And then I think we're in a space where Sharika Jackson's going to walk up into it at some point, and so we'll see. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's I know what he's saying, Shamar. It's just one of those things where you always want to think, and it's track and field is hard to compare across eras, and oftentimes it's not even the same sport. You know, it's just like so many interesting things that come into the mix. Like even like marathon running is hard to compare now. Even forget the shoes or anything like that. So even the science or the coaching of marathon running. If you read the papers, it's like they used to just run marathons where, by 20 miles you're gas and you're just like struggling for the end. Not That's no longer the case. Like the way they coach it is much different. Also, the gels are improved. Like when the gels used to come out, people get upset stomach. Now the gels and the time release stuff is just amazing. The energy levels continue to be the same, and obviously the shoes are pushing the limits of world athletics. And yeah, and so I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to be honest with you. She's not. Yeah, Flojo doesn't get into my goat status. I think she's not even the best American in my estimation. But and then when we start to make those conversations, like like where does a Wyoming Tyus come in? Where does the other Tiger Bells? And it's interesting, right? You know, it's that gag is a great conversation piece. It's always good for a good whiskey or a coffee conversation or rum or whatever your choice of beverage is. But yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, Kelvin Kiptum has unfortunately died, and I thought he would have broken. He would have gone. He would have pushed it to another barrier as well. It's very unfortunate there. He's such a young guy at the peak of his life, and such horrible, horrible, horrible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna set up two in the. So what we're having on the chat now is some under 20 hurdles for Jamaican men, 110 hurdles, and then after that, there's two heats there: Harris, Shaquille Gordon, Sullivan, Clark, and Edwards. And then after that, they'll go into the 110-meter hurdles for men for the Jamaicans. Then by the time we get to 8:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the US women 100-meter hurdles will kick off. Yeah, that's gonna be super special at some point. Yeah. 2010 prior was 4 rounds to now only. Yeah, that's true. And then when we think, sometimes even when we count medals, it's interesting because At one point the World Championships wasn't every 2 years. So it's interesting. And how do we start to think about when there's going to be a major championship every year coming forward, where outside of the World Championship year and the Olympic year, there'll be like this new format World Athletics putting in the mix. When people start racking up those titles, some people start thinking about Diamond League titles already in their calculations of greatness. I never really do that, but but people do. So there's no criteria that we can ever agree on when it comes to these things. The only thing is that you can go out and say, well, this is the fastest time ever, or the farthest distance ever, and then we can still put caveats on some of that too. It could be conditions, wind, altitude. It could be, so yeah. No, now you're talking now. Bekele wins gold in Paris. Save this commentary. If Kenelisa Bekele wins it would be special. It would be special. I don't know. I mean, he could. He could. He could. Yeah, he could. No, I think she's gonna do 1,500 and 5,000 at the Olympics. Yeah, yeah. There's world records are gonna be broken this year again. Gudaf Sigai. Uh, I think 10,000-meter world record is gonna break again. 5,000. I've said it on record that the distance records in the women in particular will all be broken a lot in the next 10 years, because the ceiling is not there yet. Women started to run distance running relatively shorter time than men. If you want to go back into your history, you will find that there's pseudoscience talking about how far women could run back in the day and all that kind of nonsense. None of those things were proven. And so there's a lot of opportunity to move the needle on some of those. So we'll continue to see them, I think. I don't know where the ceiling might be in some of the men's distance running. I still think that the 10,000 meters can be broken. The record that's interesting to me in distance for men is 1,500 meters. It's now 1998, right? Is the record that came from Ikamal Garouj. It's about time, but I don't really know, right? Like, I'm not quite sure if that's something the current crop of guys can achieve. I don't know. We'll see. uh Faith is my favorite athlete. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, I like Sifana Santu. Obviously, I think she's entering both marathon and individual events there. She's kind of outrageous with the things that she pushes her body. There's gonna be Lentes Begidi. Yeah, lots of people. Yeah, 3,000 meters steeplechase at the Olympics will be ridiculous. I don't know if Lemetre Germa can get one over on Soufiane El Bakali. Obviously, he's much faster than El Bakali, but he usually wins when it matters. So yeah, yeah. Friends, this is new era. The doping athlete needs all athletes is the true champions. Yeah, we can get into all of that stuff too at some point. Ethiopia wins 10,000-meter gold in Paris. Maybe Sifan Hassan, but no. I don't know if Sifan can win. No, I actually think Sifan can't win that. I mean, maybe Sifan can win the marathon. It could be interesting. I mean, I think that space is still a little bit open. We'll see. Uh, Give me a second. All right. Yeah. So the second semifinal, yeah, Beatrice Chebet, I think she might break a world record too as well. And yeah. Uh, You think Goodaf and Faith are on the way? I mean, long term, but I think they still will be good in Paris. I think, yeah, yeah. I love the distance talk, guys. I love it. I mean, I think we're gonna get some serious field event stuff going on as well in Paris. So Beckford leading, Hall is win. This is like under 20 boys here. I think that was Hall or Beckford. So Richard Hall wins that in 13:45 ahead of Daniel Beckford. So now that we've completed the under 20 boys thing, we're gonna then move to the men's 110 hurdles. Yeah. All right. I'm just like getting another thing structured here. Sorry, guys. All right. Yeah. 100 and something on the live, only 45 likes. What about the rest? Yeah. Well, we really appreciate you guys on tonight. I'm still gonna try to eat something, but we're getting close to the U.S. National Championships. The Jamaica National Championships for the night will probably kind of run down after this. So what we'll get is we'll get the hurdles for men. Then after that, they'll have the 400-meter prelims for women. I think there's a 10,000-meter heats as well, but I probably won't be covering that. I'll be then switching over to the U.S. National Championships. Yeah. So just a quick update in terms of I think I want to see the heats here. Although I'm not seeing it right now by heat. We'll wait for that in a second for the men's 110 hurdles. That'll be on track in a little bit. Yeah. So the first one you'll have Damian Thomas Jr., Jerome Campbell, Giano Roberts, Woodley, Hansa Parchment, and Zaza. Sorry, Zaza. So we'll see. There's a picture of Hansa Parchment here. I don't know. Is it me or the television Jamaica stream is acting up? I just don't know. Let's see where we go. If the marathon is too slow, there are possibilities for the US and Brazil. Bolivia is a possibility. I don't know about it. I don't think it's gonna be slow. If I'm gonna be honest with you, in the women, nah, I can't see it. I mean, it's gonna be ridiculous. I, yeah, it's. I think you gotta run two. I mean, 212, 211 could be it. Might be in the mix. I mean, it's out there. Asifa is back. I don't know. We'll see. It's interesting marathon through in Paris. It starts at Hotel de Ville, and then they go through the city center. The terrain is easy, I think. It could be super fast. Could be super fast. Yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be slow. I mean, the only thing that could potentially create a slow situation is if the temperatures are outrageously hot. But outside of that, I don't think so. So I just saw there's Broadbell in the picture right now. I think I saw a clip of Omar McLeod. Yeah. So we'll see what we'll get. I've run marathons, not a super elite, but the marathons is uncertain when it's very strategic and slow. It's very favorable for. No, I don't disagree with the logic. I just don't think it's gonna be. I just feel like there will, and especially, I could be wrong on this. Obviously, like the Kenyans, the Ethiopians are gonna hunt in packs here, and so it's going to be an interesting kind of mix. But I do understand what you're saying here. Yeah. Track 4. I'm really looking forward to the Jamaican women's 400-meter final and what Price can run. No, I am too. But what I was thinking too, I was thinking about this, and I think I mentioned a few lives back. I feel no matter what, she should win. I mean, it might be, yeah. So I don't know if she has to run super fast. You know what I'm saying, track for all, because the important thing is to kind of just. It was a long collegiate season, and we have to consider that. But I don't know. If she doesn't run, I think she can run a 40. I think a 49.6 wins the Jamaica National Championships. 40, even 49.7 probably. 49.7 you're on the team. So you just got to do it. U.S. Championships about to start. I want to hopefully these semifinals can wrap up. I just looking over here. I'm seeing Sha'carri Richardson walking in here. Gabby Thomas is also getting. She's coming in with what looks like an iced coffee. I have no idea. Noah Lyles is coming with a bunch of Pokemon, and he's wearing. Sorry about that. I think one of my mics died on me. All right, thank you so much. I apologize for that. I'm on the road. I'm not even paying attention to everything. All right, so there is the 100-meter hurdles on my left here. I'm seeing Clements, and then on the right, I'm seeing the Jamaica stuff. The Jamaica guys are in the blocks first, so let me see if I can get them. Although Niali looks like she's about to walk in the blocks. I mean, this might be difficult here. All right. Top two goes through in Jamaica. Top two in the United States go through as well. So there's like Clemens, there's also Harrison Niali. Quickly here. All right, they're going off. They're on answer Parchment in the back as usual. Not looking particularly great. But he's coming through. Parchment is coming through right now. I think he's gonna win this. He's gonna take this in. 13:52 it looks like. But over here now, it looks like Clemens takes the win in the US one over um Kenny Harrison and Nia Ali. That one was too close for me to look at. Yeah, so Clemens ran 12:52. Kenny Harrison ran 12:52 too. She was out there, and Nia Ali 12:55 on the bubble. So Kenny and Clemens side by side there. I have to look back at the Jamaica stuff when we get a replay. Nia Ali in lane one there, who strategically took our time in the opening round because everyone would have qualified. So the official times are 12:52 for Clemens, 12:52 for Kenny Harrison. All right, I'm back now looking at the Jamaica stuff. Hansa Parchment looked like he hit the first hurdle, or and he came out as slow as usual, but he worked his way back into it. And did he hit a hurdle? Maybe he did. I'm not quite sure. But Campbell had some issues and Roberts, and they go through. So those guys go through 13:42 and 13:50 automatic qualifier now. All right. So Christina Clemens, Mays, and Kenny Harris are our official qualifiers right now in the US Championships. Yeah. Nearly 12:55. You would hope 12:55 can get you into uh, a final, but you never know. In heat number two, you'll have semifinal number two. You'll have uh, or heat number two rather. You'll have Lolo Jones, Foon Smith, Alicia Johnson, Tania Marshall, uh, Jones again, Webster, Macmillan, and Tia Jones. The second heat of the 110-meter hurdles in Jamaica has Harris, Campbell, Broadbell, Omar McLeod, Hales, and Bryan. So I'm really interested to see what we get from Rashid Broadbell and Omar McLeod. Omar McLeod, obviously former world champion and former Olympic champion. Excuse me. 16 and 17, obviously, getting those medals. Had a lot of coaching changes and hasn't really been in the mix. Super talented, but let's see what he can bring. Can he make it back to the Olympics? All right, let me know your thoughts on who will win Heat 2 for uh, the women here. The semifinal 2 for women in the United States. Will it be Johnson? Will it be Smith? Jones? And then after this 110-meter hurdles here in Jamaica, you will get preliminary rounds of the 400 meters, and that should be the main events there in Jamaica. There's a 10,000 meter and a 35 Masters 200 as well, but all eyes on the US Championship after that. All right, so yeah, so we're waiting for the second semifinal in the US Championship, 100-meter hurdles, and also on the track here in the Jamaica National Championship is the 110-meter hurdles here. So they're gonna get in the blocks right now. So this should be Broadbell and Omar McLeod. You have to think. So they're getting in the blocks right now in Jamaica. Official walking across. I mean, they take forever to start in Jamaica. I just don't understand why they do it. Yeah. They're in set. And they're out. I mean, that's a good start by Omar McLeod. Rashid Broadbell is there as well. It's McLeod and Broadbell together. Their Broadbell might be slightly ahead. And yeah, Broadbell wins this ahead of Omar McLeod. 13:32 ahead of 13:34 into a minus -0.9 win. They qualify easily. I'm going to turn my attention right now to the women's 100-meter semifinal here for US. The top two qualifiers. There's Tania Marshall there with Alicia Johnson. The two of them are side by side right now, and they're ahead of the field by far. So Johnson ahead of Marshall. It seems like 12:36. I mean, both of them have the same time. It looks. I mean, it's hard to separate, but Johnson is given the victory. 12. So it's 12:35.51 ahead of 12:35.5. Both of them with the time of 12:36. And in third is Jones on 12:83. So Nia Ali is still in the mix. Nia Ali definitely still occupying a position. Nia Ali and Aliyah Armstrong, and also I think, yeah, Nia Ali and Aliyah Armstrong are still in uh, a position to go through as fast as uh, times to advance after the automatic times. But that was lovely sprint hurdling there from Johnson and Marshall. Yeah, lovely. All right. So I want to wrap up on the Jamaica 110-meter hurdles. There is one more heat left that will have Warmington, Bennett, Lemonius, Mason, Russell, and Phillips. Again, the top two advance with the two next best times. And currently, Broadbell, the times that are out on the outside currently are 13:54, 13:60, you think? Yeah. So we wait on that to come on the track. And one more semifinal left for the US athletes here. And we'll have Block McGee, Hooven, Stark, Bonds, Masai Russell, super talented. Uh, Lawrenson, or I never know how to pronounce this. I have to. And Dyer and Cunningham. So another two will come from this, and then we'll hash out the minor places. Good. Are you doing General 876? Thanks for being on the channel. You know, I guess you're supporting Jamaica all the way here. Some good stuff happening in Jamaica in the last couple of nights. Today, I like what I saw, obviously, today as well from the women in the 100-meter hurdles. Also, the 110 men look decent so far. So a lot of cool stuff will happen at the US Championships too. The discus for men are currently going on right now. I think Evans in the lead with 66 meters ahead of Mattis 66.61, 66.07, Joseph Brown 65.79. And to get the Olympic standard for men, you have to throw 67.20. So to be in Paris, you have to throw 67-20 for the standard. So the US guys, I think Evans has the standard already. Brown has the standard. Mattis doesn't have the standard. So he has a six and final throw coming up. He may need to try and get that. Otherwise, he won't be getting on that plane. Uh, so we have. I anticipate maybe Bennett and Mason should be the ones here. Philip Lemonis used to be decent. I don't know where he's currently. I'm having like a frozen screen right now. All right. So top two here, and then try to qualify. So they're in the blocks. And I don't know if it's me, but I think this Jamaica stream is acting up. Bennett is cruising here, looking really good. I didn't get to see the start; it just jumped. So it's Bennett ahead of Tyler Mason, ahead of Phillips, and what looks like Lemonia. So it's 13:28 to 13:30, 13:47, and 13:49. Lemonius might be able to make it, I think. Right. So it's gonna be Bennett, Mason, Broadwell, McLeod, Parchment, Campbell, Phillips, and Lemonius. Those are the guys who will be battling out in the final for a spot to the Paris Olympic Games. Give me a second there, guys. See what's going on here with this. All right. All right. So that's the end there for the Jamaica 110-meter hurdles. And the guys going into the final, Bennett again, Mason, Broadbell, McLeod, Parchment, Campbell, Phillips, Lemonius. Those are the guys making it through. On track next for Jamaica will be the 400-meter opening round for women. What we'll have here is Ricky and Russell, Graham, there's Sade Williams, but she's from Barbados. Obviously, she's running here. And then there's Ashley Williams, Leah Anderson, Salmon, Nikisha Price, new national record holder, and Bromfield in the first heat. We'll wait on that. And the final 100-meter hurdle semifinal at the U.S. National Championships is on the track right now. I mean, Stark was fantastic this year in college, I believe. I'm looking forward to see what she'll do, to be honest with you. And so it's going to be, there's Masai Russell, there's Stark, there's, they're going in the blocks right now. So let's see. So they're in the blocks right now. There's a little bit of long jump going on as well over there. I expect Masai Russell. I think Stark was phenomenal this year. Let's see. Long collegiate season. Let's see. Bonds might be in the mix. And they're off there. Masai Russell looking good. I think Stark is also in the lead right now, but Masai Russell is coming back on her. And so Masai Russell will take over at the 10th hurdle ahead of Stark. and it looks like Bonds. I have to see again. Yeah, official result says Russell 12:36. Very good timing there from Masai Russell. Grace Stark 12:45, and Bonds 12:77 also qualifies. So the women going to the final of the US 100-meter hurdles is Johnson, Alicia Johnson, Tania Marshall, Masai Russell, Grace Starr, Christina Clemens, Kenny Harrison, Nia Ali, Aaliyah Armstrong, and Taylor Bonds. That's going to be a superb 100-meter hurdle final. Your guess is as good as mine for who will be on that plane to Paris, because Marshall looked good, Johnson looked good, so it was Clement. So is Masai Russell and Stark and Kenny Harrison. You can't counter out. Likewise, Clemens. They look really comfortable in their semifinal too. So there's a lot here. It's going to be a cracker. You may have to run 12-2 to get onto this team. Yeah, may have to run 12-2. All right. So up next on the track for currently, let me give you the long jump for women are just getting final in progress. There's nothing really to report yet, except that Monet Nichols is in the lead in 677. But in 6 minutes time, we have the final of the 200 meters. Mays, Clark, Davis, Prandini, Steiner, Richardson, Mackenzie Long, Gabby Thomas, Brittany Brown. Let me know who you have. I have Gabby Thomas winning. I believe sha'carri Richardson would also make the team. I feel like Mackenzie Long might pip it. I mean, it's been a long season for Long, but she was really great in college. Didn't do as well in the 100 meters as she anticipated. But I think it's gonna be a cracker. Jaquan's, yeah, just forward. Uh, you want to know what happened in the hurdles? Okay, so the hurdles for U.S. women just finished. We can put that up, and while we can recap the hurdles for Jamaica women. Let me see what we have on the screen. So this is the thing. Let me do the American one first. So the qualifiers are Johnson, Marshall, Russell, Stark, Clemens, Harrison, Nia Ali, Armstrong, Bonds, Armstrong and Bonds. Good running there in U.S. Championship. The first heat, you could barely separate Clemens and Kenny Harrison. Nia Ali had to qualify in times, so was Aaliyah Armstrong. In the second, you had Johnson and Marshall running a cracker, both with 12:36, and Masai Russell and Grace Stark running really good in the third semifinal. If you go to Jamaica, Jamaica was really good as well. They only had two heats there. Akira Nugent, fantastic time of 12:46 into a minus 1.1 win. Danielle Williams as well, running pretty comfortable, 12:57. And Onika Wilson, 12:76. Both of them qualified. She, I thought, had a really good start, but the other two athletes was just too good for her. And then the second one, Megan Tapper, uh, ran fairly decent, winning in front of Roswell, who was decent as well. Better than decent, I would say. And then Janique Brown coming in at the end there to pip Amar Brown, but also Amar Brown makes it into the final. So that's where we are. 110-meter hurdles, obviously, went as well for Jamaica. All the principles look good there. For the women, obviously, Brittany Anderson didn't make it. I think she just will need some more time. Maybe by the end of the season she might be in better shape for sure. Yeah, so that's where we are there, to be honest with you. You have Gabby, sha'carri, and whoever wants it most, Abby or Long. Yeah, that's where I'm going right now, to be honest with you. I'm seeing sha'carri on the track right now. In another 3 minutes the 200-meter final should be kicking off. Yeah, Yeah. 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 Oh yeah, and I just saw this. I was just looking at the thing. There's a lane warning that happened to Sha'carri in our semifinal. She stepped on the line. She gets a warning. If she were she to step on the line again here, she would be disqualified, I believe. Uh, if my if I remember the rules, because I was looking at the L and I was like, what's happening here? And I just realized she has a lane warning. And I think they just showed it on the TV, but I'm not listening. I'm just watching it. So I suspect they were explaining that. So this is going to be a cracker here, ladies and gentlemen. It should be Gabby Thomas and Shakara Richardson, but Clark look good. You can never count out Prandini. It might be a step too far. Abby Steiner coming back into shape. Is it a bit too early for her? We'll have to wait. We'll wait and see here. We'll wait and see. Gabby Thomas being introduced here. Fantastic this year. An athlete that can run one all the way up to four. Mackenzie Long here lost her mom, had a really great collegiate season, didn't do as well as she would have wanted to in the 100 meters. I know this is her time for redemption, I would suspect, an opportunity to get onto this US national team. This is really good. So Gabby Thomas won't be seeing any of them behind her. Obviously, she'll see Brittany Brown. Tamara Davis actually doesn't start. So no Davis there. So only Brittany Brown ahead of Gabby Thomas. Sha'carri can see Mackenzie and also Gabby. And Abby can see everybody. Same as Jenna Prandini. So interesting. Interesting. Uh Yeah, we're gonna get the 400-meter semifinals. Then we'll get the 200-meter finals for men as well. Cracking night for track and field. Appreciate everybody being here. Hit that like button. Yeah. All right. At our best, Gabby Thomas, not Gabby, at our best, Abby Steiner could have been on this team easily, but she had a surgery and she's coming back and she has a chance. She has a chance. Let's see. I want to get a quick update on the long jump in Jamaica. Is this correct? I don't know if this is live results, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah, in college, Long had a fantastic season. She didn't do well in the 100 meters at the US National Championships. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah. Sydney McLaughlin is in the first semifinal in lane 6. Dalia Mohammed, the former world record holder, is behind her. All right, so let's get this going, guys. They are going the blocks. Women's 400 meters will happen too in Jamaica. I'll get to this 200-meter finals first. I may have to miss that one. No Tamara Davis. They're in the set position. Definitely has to be a sub 20, sub 22 run. And they're moving here. And Richardson doesn't not running a great curve. Mackenzie Long has a really good curve here. And I think Gabby Thomas will come off the curve. Sha'carri's not going to make this. And look at this. Gabby Thomas is eating up the trap. Brittany Brown is flying. Also Mackenzie Long. Those are the three people going to the Olympics for the United States. Sha'carri is in fourth. Gabby Thomas there with a superb straight. Decent curve. I have to see the curve again. 21.81 for Gabby Thomas. Brittany Brown, imagine that. I said we shouldn't sleep on Brittany Brown, and then I didn't, and then I disrespected her by not predicting her again. And Mackenzie Long finally did it. 3 women sub 22. 21.81 for Gabby Thomas. 21.90 for Brittany Brown, 21.91 for Mackenzie Long, and I really am happy for Mackenzie here. Really happy for Mackenzie. She had a tough year and losing her mom, and now she's going to the Olympics. Sha'carri Richardson in fourth in 22.16, probably run her faster times earlier. Tamara Clark 22.20. Abby Steiner just a little bit too much for Steiner here, 22.24. Jenna Prandini 22.58 and 22.60 for Mays. And this is a positive 0.6 win. So that is the team. That is the team, ladies and gentlemen. This was your prediction there. Look at that. Look how Brittany Brown running her life. Brittany Brown found a way. Look at that. Brittany Brown is running everything. Leaning back, no fault. She's just fighting. And Gabby really held her own there and she made it. Excellent there for Gabby Thomas. And yeah, so that is the US team to the Olympics. I have to say, I'm a little bit shocked that Sha'carri Richardson didn't make it, to be honest with you. I thought, given what we saw, that she would have been on this team. And she was capable of going sub 22, but she did it earlier. Interesting. Interesting here. That is a bit of a shocker for me. It happens, it's a prediction game. Thank you, everybody. That was a cracking final. The Jamaica National Championships is going on as well here. Women 400-meter hurdles on the track. And obviously, the first heat will have the new national record holder from the University of Arkansas, the Razorback herself, Nikisha Price. That 48.89 was a spectacular time there, and yes, we have the Barbadian athlete, the Bajan here, who is running as well. She obviously won't impact the results. And what's happening here will be the top two in each heat plus the next two best time. So I expect Williams to win this. Not Williams, Price, sorry, to be here. I'm seeing them look like they're interviewing Mackenzie Long. I don't know what she's saying, but she looks really overjoyed. Yeah, Bromfield is in the mix as well. Salmon, Anderson, Williams, Graham, Russell. And they're off. Price looks like she's already making up a little bit of a stagger here. But Williams is running the best so far. Sade Williams is running the best so far, but it's not important to her for the Jamaicans what position she finishes. But coming around the bend right now, off the top of the bend, is Williams. Nikisha Price is going to come off second. And running really good now. Nikisha Price kind of lifting somewhat more. She's running, and she's probably going to pass Sade Williams right now, and she wins this comfortably. So that is the first. I have no times yet. Nothing came up on the screen, and we haven't gotten an updated result yet. But Nikisha Price wins this ahead of what seems to me as Williams from Barbados. And I'm waiting to get some more details on the rest. Yeah, no results yet. No results yet. So I'm waiting for that. I think that might come in a second. 49.63 for Nikisha Price. And I think Williams could be sub 52, or if not 50. Yeah, Sade Williams 49.80 as well, season best for her. And Bromfield 50.74. So the results are coming in a little bit slower than normal. I'm not sure why that's the case. Yeah. 50.74 for Bromfield as well. As as we know, the Olympic standard for women is 50.95 for 400 meters. Let me check some. All in the game. Where you at, man? You just coming in the show. Let me see what's going on. I wish Sha'carri would have went would have went 100% yesterday. She looked like 21-7 likely. Yeah, I don't know why. Race strategy is interesting. Uh, all in the game. Brittany Brown gambled to go all in on the 200 and was fully justified. Was in form of her life last year. Glad she carried through this year. Yeah, I was thinking like Brittany Brown can do this, and she finally did. But I have to be honest, I thought Sha'carri would have done this. Eric P. Kingston is saying 13. Kingston 13 is saying, I think Nikisha is going to medal. It's possible. It's not going to be easy to medal at the Olympics. Nikisha definitely can be in the mix for that. It's just a question of how she arrives at the Olympics, if she's tired or not. Fatigue will come in, obviously. But it's going to be tough. Paulina, I think, will probably win the gold medal, but Adelike may have something to say about that. Kazmarek, uh, yeah, no Shawnee. I discussed the Shawnee thing earlier. Uh, let's see. I'm not surprised Sha'carri didn't make it because from the semis, it's quite obvious she didn't have anything extra. But she ran pretty decent. Uh, interesting. I think maybe she wanted others to have a chance to shine at the Olympics, and she may be slow. What? Uh, I, I have no. I've never heard that in my life. To be honest, with you. I've never heard that in my life. No, nobody does that. Not her. Not. You might do that when if you had like 15 gold medals or something, and then you still wouldn't do that. Eric is 48 something is a podium. Yeah, I think 48 will get you on the podium. 48 mid to low 48 can get you on the podium. All in the game. That's nonsense. She well and truly was beating. All in the game doesn't mince word. Sha'carri was slowing down in the semis. She definitely had more, but either her legs just gave out, or I think she didn't run a good curve. I have to see it again, and because I'm watching two races at the same time, I don't think she ran a good curve. Stay curious. Good evening. Glad Mackenzie Long made it. Uh, happy for the three that made the team. Yeah, that's a great team there. Mackenzie Long, no one can be upset with that for sure. Brittany Brown as well. And obviously Gabby, favorites obviously for the US, I thought. And too much for Abby Steiner at the moment. We'll have to see. Like a Brittany Anderson out there in Jamaica, the championships comes too early after the injury. Maybe I can imagine Abby might get much better by the end of the season. Likewise, Brittany Anderson there. Uh, Sha'carri is not a 200 person, just like Shelley. Yeah, I think she runs more 100, but Shelley has a world title over 200 meters, if for sure. 2013, she had the double. Uh, the US winner is a 49 something, yeah. Uh, but yeah, to come from jogging 21.9, easy to not even being able to replicate. It's crazy. Yeah, it's probably it could be nerves. It could be nerves. I don't know. Race strategy. I didn't think she ran the curve well. Uh, I think because Sha'carri was worn, she got nervous because she mashed the line in the semi. Well, I mean, you would be cautious, but I don't think you would be that cautious. It's not. It's not particularly hard to stay on the curve. She's experienced enough. Okay, Cherokee Young is in the lead. Sorry, guys, Cherokee. This looks like Cherokee Young here. Uh, and Young is coming through, and Foot. It looks like, and Joanne Reed as well. Yeah. and Candice McLeod down the track. I missed some of the early parts of the 200 of the 400 meter here. I apologize. I was checking you guys out comments out. So Cherokee Young wins this in what seems like 51:58 ahead of Foot 51:62. Reed season best for her. It seems like at 50. No, I don't know if it's a season best, but 50. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, 51:69 for Reed. Again, you cannot get to the Olympics if you haven't done the standard, and the standard for women is 50.95 for 400 meters. All right, back to some of these comments here because the live is hotting up with the comments. I don't know about that, I'll be honest with you. Sha'carri looks tired or something else with her. I mean, you can have a bad race, I think, as well. But she was beaten, so that's an interesting thing. Uh, I think if Sha'carri cruised in the first round, automatic qualifier, and tied with Steiner in the semi, she could have hit 21.8. Possibly, it's all gone now. Where can I watch live? What do you want? If you want to watch the Jamaica National Championships, then you got to get One Spot Media. It's a pay-per-view thing. U.S. National Championships, if you're in the United States, because I don't know what's showing internationally, you have to watch it on the NBC platform, on their TV network, or on their streaming platform, Peacock. I'm doing a lot of advertisement for these guys, and they're not paying me. Yeah, you're right about not a good curve, and it looks like her start was shaky. I didn't assess the start for sure, but I know she didn't execute well enough off the curve. She didn't slingshot off the curve. Like, that's the language I like to use. You want to set up yourself so you get off the curve, and it didn't look good. Sydney runs next. Yeah, 400 meters. Gabby and Abby should be in the 4x4 relay pool. Gabby for sure. I don't know what they'll do with Abby. Yeah, Abby's not in her 22 form. I agree there. Abby should go nowhere to 4x400. the the pool will be Sid, Kendall, Alexis, Holmes, Kalen, Gabby, and maybe a thing. Yeah, I think might make it. Uh, man, Jamaica's men's 100 is exciting. That Olympic final will be crucial, and I'm a Noah Lyles fan. Yeah, the Jamaican men showed up last night. Uh, some more sub tens happened. I think the German national record went. Those guys won't be a factor at the Olympics, but the more people going sub 10, uh, yeah, it's shaping up nicely. Right now, guys, the great Sidney McLaughlin is on the track. I'm just seeing Delilah Mohammed, who is a former world record holder. Let's spend some time talking about the 400-meter final here. Semi-final, I apologize. What am I saying? The 400-meter semi-final. Also, there's the 400 meters for Jamaica on the track as well. Yeah. But I'll do the. This one has night white, but I'm gonna do the U.S. Championships here. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean Sydney probably is in world record form. Yeah. Uh, uh, look like Stacey and Williams looking really good here in Jamaica. She's up on the stagger there leading, but let's get this 400-meter hurdles going on. They're in the set position here in the United States. And they're off. And Sydney McLaughlin already has made up the stagger here on the athlete in front of her. And she's, oh my God, she's like blazing it. She's already made a stagger, and everybody else, she is in a commanding lead. She's running as if she's trying to break the world record in the semifinal. I mean, she took a little bit easy there in the second part of the backstretch there, but she's gonna, yeah, it's not gonna be any world record. I'm just joking, but she's moving. The way she's moving is definitely gonna be 52s here. She is blazing. She's already having like 3-4 meter lead, 5 meter lead, 6 meter, 10 meter lead on Delilah Mohammed here. She is blazing now, and now she's in cruise control. The jaws are just jumping. Easy run here for Sydney McLaughlin. This is gonna be 52 and change for sure. 52:48 is the time for Sydney McLaughlin. Easy as you like. You will never see a 52:48 as easy as that unless Femke runs it too. And Dalilah Mohammed in second qualifies 54.16. It's just a landslide there. Cassandra Tate, 54.66, will have to wait to see if that's good enough to get her into the finals. I am afraid it might not be, but we'll see. So that's the great Cindy McLaughlin. As the gun went off, she ran the first, I would say, 200 and almost 300 meters fairly hard. But once she got on the second part of that curve, obviously getting into the home stretch, it was just like training run right there for Sydney McLaughlin. Training run. Where are we? Lots of comments here. Keep them coming, guys. Yeah, Aliyah Butler as well. Her eyes didn't look right. She looked exhausted. Who you mean, Sha'carri? Dang, I love Abby. I guess you were saying it breaks your heart. Yeah, it's tough for her, but Abby Steiner had a rough year. She had to go on a surgery to be back and running this fast and almost and getting into the final of the US National Championships. She should take heart to that. And then just think about the rest of the season. There will be Diamond League events, there'll be events after the Olympics as well, and then use that as a catalyst to be in better shape come for the World Championships next year in Tokyo. Uh, I think she is in overall world record form, given what we've seen at the 200 meters this year, the 400 meters in 48 and change. Yeah, Sydney McLaughlin, you don't need to run the world record here. There's no need. She might try to break the world record in in the finals. I don't know. The important thing is to get to the final. I mean, the way Sydney's running, she could probably fall and still make it. Maybe not, but I'm just saying. Uh, Agro Valley is saying, damn, the boy, Jamaican men are back. The Olympic final will be very exciting. It will be exciting for sure. Stay curious. She cruised after 200 meters. Yeah, that's McLaughlin. That's true. What are the requirements for the relay pool? It depends. Obviously, you get in the pool, I think top 6 for sure in the individual from the US national team. Then they put other people in the mix based on how they pick. If she keeps running like that, Clayton wins. Whew. And he's like, Clayton who? I think he's referring to Tia Clayton, who was second in the Jamaica National Championships last night behind Sharika Jackson and ahead of Shelley and Fraser Price. We spoke about Tia Clayton recently. I think maybe it's not you would ask that, stay curious, but she's one of those junior twin prodigies that is making their way. All in the game is saying interesting race between Jasmine Jones, Shamara Little, Anna Cockrell, Dalia, Rachel Glenn for those second and third spots. Yeah, it's gonna be a cracker for sure. The next on track gonna be really interesting, guys. Shamara Little obviously ran all of those 400 meters, made it into the final. Rachel Glenn, super talented athlete here. Yeah, we'll see. I want to check something in the Jamaica National Championships here. I want to see what the discus results are because I did not get a chance here. So Travis Michael threw 67.08 ahead of Roger Stone at 65.29, Mullings 64.92, Dacre 64.46. The 67.20 is the standard. Does Travis Michael have the Olympic standard? Interesting. Also wanna get a chance to look at the long jump. What happened? Kier McLeod 832, Wayne Pinnock 827. Is this the results or this is just the lineup? Anyway, let's get back to some of your. All right, I'm missing out some of these things here. Maybe Eric said if Sydney keeps running like that, Russell Clayton, the one who won the 400-meter. What? Oh, no, not a chance. First of all, there's only one medal up for grab at the Olympics over 400-meter hurdles, and that's bronze medal. Femke Bol and Sidney McLaughlin are duking out for the gold medal. You may get two women running sub 51. Rochelle Clayton, none of these guys, or women rather, they can't. They can't get in that space. It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's no way you can be in. You realize what it takes to just jog what Sidney McLaughlin just did? Sidney McLaughlin just ran 52:48. That's a world leading time. And she wasn't in, she didn't even come out of second gear. It's ridiculously easy for her right here. This is a woman that will, I mean, I would not be shocked if she broke the world record again. And I certainly think she'll go into Paris in very low 51 shape, potentially in shape to go sub 51. So nah, the only bronze medal available in Paris. Only bronze medal. Well, I hate to say it, but Sydney's untouchable. Why you keep saying those negative things? Huh? Uh, uh, Femke ran the 200 at the Dutch trials, not even flat 400, working on our flat speed. Yeah, and that's the thing that we're talking about because Sydney's going to push hard. It's going to be crazy. I think it's possible that the two of them hunting each other could misstep and crash into the hurdles. Who knows? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, um, yeah. You know, go politics is, it's one of those things where I call it like a seat. I mean, nothing would please me more to see Russia Clayton win, but there's also what you want and what won't happen, right? Yeah, and then anything is possible. We might get a surprise. Yeah, I mean, someone can have food poisoning. You could have, you can get disqualified. One of those things can happen. All right, so second semifinal on the track right now. Uh, Rachel Glenn in the mix, obviously. This is a good heat. They're going to go off in a second here. I mean, Shamira Little looks decent right here. She's gone out really hard. But that's Rachel Glenn here looking decent as well. Townsend in the mix too. Yeah, I don't know who really is really leading this at the stage. That looks like Glenn and Shamar Little is in the lead. She's going to come off the top ahead of everybody. Rachel Glenn is into her inside. And the two of them are now just basically ahead of the field. They will qualify, and Little is running a bit harder than Glenn to make sure she probably gets a better lane. And so Shamar Little wins it in 53:49 ahead of Rachel Glenn 53:68 and Townsend 55:24. Yeah, I don't think that's good enough to get through. So those two are automatic qualifiers there. I mean, Shamir Little has had a lot of running at these championships. I don't know what that might do for her when it comes to this final. I agree with that. Rachel Glenn, all in the game is saying Rachel Glenn is arguably the most athletic and talented all-round female athlete. Yeah, that woman she's special, super special. What events are happening at the Jamaica trials today? Well, we they just completed the 400 meters for the Jamaica trials. Oh, I'm just looking at Chase here in the shot put. Uh, Is that 19 meters and change or close to 20? I don't know what that is. No, she fouled. The only events remaining right now, they're doing a 200-meter masters and then a 10,000 meter. So I'm stop focusing on the Jamaica National Championships at this moment. Uh, the last major thing that was completed was the 400-meter hurdles, and Nikisha Price leads the way. Stacey and Williams, Cherokee Young, Janelle Bromfield, Stephanie Ann McPherson, Shaniqua Foot, and Ashley Williams. Those are your finalists for the 400-meter final. And yeah, so it's all about US National Championships right now for me. And then obviously there'll be the 10,000-meter final uh, after these 400-meter hurdles. And then the men's 200-meter final. Much anticipated there. Let me get an update on the shot put right now. The shot put in the early stages, Ross is in the lead in 1939. Woodard 1836, Ramsey 1809, Morris 1796, Maggie Ewan 1787, Maya Lesnar 1663. Lesnar had a really great collegiate season. Raven Saunders has yet to go yet, it seems like. So it's just early stages there. Quick stage of the long jump right now. The long jump is into its third round. Moore is in the lead with 698. Nichols 677, Brown 677, Burke 669. Davis Woodall 664, only registering one legal jump so far. First two attempts were foul jumps, so she has to do some big jumping. Obviously, a 7 meter jumper at best was consistently the best jumper this year until Mihambe decided to stretch her legs, and no, I'm not quite sure who's the favorite going into the Olympics. Probably we'll see. Where are we now? Yeah, she ran. Yeah, Rochelle Clayton ran a super fantastic time yesterday. What is it? Second on the all-time list for Jamaica, but those times can't compare to what Sydney McLaughlin or Femke Bowl are capable of. Not even in the slightest. They will be beaten if you run 52 5 or 4 in the final against Sydney and Femke. You will be beaten by 5 or 7 meters. It's not or more. Yeah, you're not gonna be in the picture because they're gonna run 51 low or 50 flat. It's just I hate to say it, but it's just one of those things. Uh Women's shot put is stuck. Yeah, really, really stuck. Wanna see Maggie back in the hammer. But that's stuck too, yeah. And yeah, good evening, Elijah. What's going on? Yeah, really good having you guys here. Anna Crockwell on screen here. Got a lot of time for her too. Uh, she's good for the sport, I think, but I don't know how far she'll make it here. But this is Spencer Watkins Young, right? Cockrell, Jasmine Jones, really talented. Uh, Bellamy, Garrett, and Wise. So top two goes through, and the next three fastest time. And so far, I think the next three fastest times are Tate at 54.66, Townsend 55.26, and Bookman at 55.68, I believe. So yeah, 8 of the women shot putters already have the Olympic standard. Yeah, Really good. Debbie, what's going on? Hi. Yeah, we're 2 hours and 45 minutes into the live. Uh, we'll get to probably 3 hours and change tonight again, like last night. Marathon lives. All right, so we're in this 400 meters here, hurdles, final, semifinal. They're in the set position. Don't forget to like, subscribe, notification bell. I appreciate it. They're in a set position, and they're off. And Anna Cockrell is really making moves here. She's also making up a little bit of a stagger there on the athlete in front of her. Anna Cockrell is in the lead for sure. And she's on Jasmine Jones, who is right. Yeah, that is Jones in front of her. So Cockrell is up on Jones. And she knows she has to run hard. I think Anna Cockrell is moving really fast here. This might, 32 right here on the bend. This could be a low 53 or somewhat near in the 52 range if they continue this. Anna Cockrell leading Jasmine Jones with a little meterish there or so. They're really close. Jasmine Jones is actually stepping. Oh, she almost fell off hurdle number 10 there. Jones, that is. Cockrell easily wins this now at 52.95 or 52.96, officially 52.95, ahead of Jones, 52, 53, 53.66, and Akala Garrett 53.34. She will also qualify. So we get the third place finishers from all three semifinals make it into the final. It's going to be cracker. That is a fantastic run there from Anna Cockrell there. A personal best 52.95. This is the first time she's going sub 53, I believe. And so the final will be Sydney McLaughlin Lavrone leading the way with 52.48. Cockrell, Shamar Little, Jasmine Jones, Rachel Glenn, the veteran Delilah Mohammed, Cassandra Tate, Townsend, and Garrett. Those are your finalists there. That was a fabulous run by Anna Cockrell. Execution perfectly. Early out, she made up the stagger on Jasmine Jones, who I thought had more in the tank, could probably run her down on the stretch, but had an unfortunate clearance of hurdle number 10 and could have been disastrous. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And that's your 400-meter hurdles. Let me get back to some of these comments here. Give me a second there. I'm back. It was more a joke. Okay. Run more and more people running 52s. Yeah, it's warming up. It's warming up. Willie Roll, when can you give us the 400-meter women results? Let's put that up on the screen if we can. So the results of the 400 meters for Jamaica, the official qualifiers would be Nikisha Price. She ran a 49.63. There's Stacey and Williams, Cherokee Young, Janelle Bronfield, Stephanie Ann McPherson, Foot, Ashley Williams. Those are your finalists into the final, I think. Yeah, those are the athletes into the final. There should be one more. That's the 7 if I'm counting correctly. We can put up the results by heat as well, just for you to see if we can do that by the heat. So that would be heat 1 there, won by Price. Then Sade Williams obviously ran, but she wasn't. She ran for Barbados. She was just running for qualification time, obviously. Can you get to heat number 2 just quickly there? And Cherokee Young won that in 51.58 ahead of Foot, 51.62. And in the final heat, you had Stacey and Williams at 50.93 ahead of the veteran Stephanie and McPherson. All right, so that's where we are. I'll get to that in a second. Let me get some more comments here. All in the game is saying that last hurdle by Jones. Yeah, it could have been disastrous because she could have landed flat. Jones was spent. Not sure. Could be. Could be. Jenna is asking, good evening. What about the 200-meter runs in Jamaica? Well, we had these earlier today. The opening, we can probably start. Let me just give an update on that really quickly. If we can get the women's prelims were earlier today, and Sharika Jackson led the way. She qualifies at 22:67. Nikki Berger 22:90. Laneta Thomas, who had a better running than she did in the 100 meters, obviously better over 200 meters as well, 23:04. Dejani Oakley, 22:77. Ashanti Moore, 23:19. Kivona Davis, 23:37. And Jodian Williams, 22:86. Those are your qualifiers. A lot of athletes didn't start. Kemba Nelson didn't start. Also, Tia Clayton, Fraser Price, Wallace, Crystal Sole, and Shashali Forbes. They didn't show up at all. All right, and then there were some other athletes who ran from BVI, like Adeja Hodge, because they're participating because they don't have a proper national championships to. So they need competition as well. So they come to the Jamaica Championships. Yeah, that's what we had, and the men's were. If we can get the men's up in a second, we can tell you that. But that's where we are in the 200 meters. You're welcome, Jenna. Uh, you're not worried about 52.9. Is that for me or I'm not quite sure. Please give the veteran Milima her praise because she was the first black woman to win the hurdles at Rio 2016. I really like Delia. She will continue to be my favorite. What? What do you mean? I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. You mean the first black woman to ever win the 400-meter hurdles? No, there's a long list of women who've done that. You know, I mean, in fact, 1996 was Dion Hemmings. There is, yeah, yeah. Uh, First time watching your content from the Bahamas. Love your show. Have to subscribe, like, and share. Keep the good works. No, my friend, really appreciate it. Willie Bahamas, one of the greatest track and field nations on the planet, punch above their best in terms of population size. Your thoughts, since you're from Bahamas, your thoughts on the Shawnee Miller Weber situation. You know, I was talking to All in the Game. He's probably somewhere around here. We were chatting online earlier over comments. I was surprised that Shawnee decided to go into 200 meters, and not just run the 400 meters alone, given that, she was coming back. This wasn't the season to double. And now, and she picks up that injury, and extremely disappointed that the great Shawnee Miller isn't going to given the opportunity to defend our national title. It's just such a shame, right? And she's one of the all-time greats, arguably could be the greatest ever, but there's a lot of discussion there. I still have Perrick in front of her, but I don't know. We can debate that another day. But yeah, no Shawnee there. Yeah, we'll see. Bahamian 400-meter running, different class. Yeah, she is. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what's going on there. I feel disappointed for Shawnee. Antonia, I don't know what. Okay, this is interesting. This is a sports channel tonight. I don't know about the politics, to be honest with you. I actually don't live in Jamaica. I can't comment much about it. Shawnee changed since marriage. What? uh, uh, we'll at best see only Shawnee and I think on in the mix 4x4 in Paris. Yeah, we'll get to see them, but it's certainly a disappointment that we won't get to see them defend. And you look at it, we'll get new 100 and 200-meter champions, new 400-meter champion, new 800-meter champion as well at the Olympics. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. So the women's 10,000 meter finals is on the way there. I think both in Jamaica and that men in Jamaica, I think, but women in the US right here. Yeah. Uh, that broke my heart, Willis, and hoping Stephen Gardner steps up. I'm hoping so too. I mean, I go on record and I say my decision on who will win the 400-meter hurdles at the Olympics depends on how fit Stephen Gardner is. If he's back to shape, then I think he wins the 400-meter hurdles because you can't beat a fit Stephen Gardner. And the last time I saw him run was the Ostrava meet there, the Golden Spikes meet, where an Alexander Doom came back on him, but he looked much better, obviously coming back from the injury. But Gardner, if he's at his best, then it's silver medals handing out. So hopefully he gets back to get back to full fitness and rounds into proper shape because he's really a talented individual. Talented individual. Antonio Ward is asking, "What's your thoughts on Thompson Hero?" Well, at what point, where do you want me to comment on the overall situation? What's going on? So I will say I am ups. I am saddened that she will be unable to defend her title, and she didn't get an opportunity to run at the national championships. It's always a sad situation when athletes are unable to compete because of injury, and it's a tough one. So I'll say that. I mean, overall, it's a difficult uh, past 3 years since the last Olympics for her. Uh, 21 was fantastic. She's an athlete that's injury prone, hence she has no real medals in the 100 meters uh, in the World Championship. So most of her exploits have been at the Olympics, and she's always struggling at some point. So there's a legacy there. But then 21 was such a bumper year. The 1054, the 1060, the 21, the 21.5. Uh, and then there was the bust up, and that was an interesting situation. I've said it on numerous occasions, and I'll just say it again. Athletes can leave, but you have to do it in the right way in terms of picking your team. Didn't work out with the initial coaching from her significant other or whatever Bertrand Cameron was doing. Then, you get that medal in Oregon, and it's been struggle after that. It looked like she was back in good shape last year ahead of schedule once she transitioned to Shaniki Osborne, but then that didn't work out for whatever financial reasons. And she moved over to Ronaldo Walcott, who is a really good coach. He's, gotten athletes to perform at their very best, win titles in Shelley and Fraser Price and medals and so on. And that ended in injury. So our situation is bleak in the sense that even though she's 30, one ish, her track record of being injured on a number of occasions makes me concerned that her longevity in the sport might not be there, and I'm hope I'm wrong on this. So I'm hope she gets healthy, gets back in shape, get the right things going, and can compete effectively come next year at the World Championships in Tokyo. But we'll wait to see. We'll have to see. All right, let me get back to some more of your comments. Uh, Yeah, did I say something like four hurdles? Maybe I made a mistake if that's referring to me. Uh, but I don't know. Shauna Miller-Weber, the Olympic 400 champion from 2016-2020, will not compete in the upcoming prize. Yeah, that is. She's not going to. Yeah, she. It's tough. I mean, if the injury is not too serious, I don't know what the stake of the injury, to be honest with you. But if she is not that bad of if and could find form, then she could be on the 4x4 mix or the flat 4x4. Yes, Terry Crews. I think I saw Terry Crews there, but I haven't really. I don't know what's going on because I'm not listening to it. Yeah, I did talk about that earlier today. Ansa going 9.99 today, becoming the first German to run sub 10. Uh, it took a while, but it also, you know, I don't want to say what I want to say on the internet, but yeah, it's good to see a bunch of other guys getting into the mix, all in the game, and I like when athletes start to run the sub tens. Obviously, I don't think any of those athletes will really factor, but the more of them running sub tens, uh, it means it's a healthier space for the sport. Right now, we have obviously Kishan Thompson world lead, Omanyala in altitude, oblique Seville, Noah Lyles, Coleman won't run flat as we all know. Kung Fu Kenny Fed Curly, all of them have gone there. There's the Cuban guy that ran that 990. What's his name? Montoya. I don't know what his position is. Uh, Lamont Jacob has gone to sub 10 as well, 992. I think Simbini has one of those times as well. And yeah, Miller, all those guys, but they won't feature. It was good to see Brandon Hinkling today. He has a 994, but he was into negative headwind, into a headwind rather in the British Championships. I suspect he'll definitely get a spot. I don't know Zarnell Hughes, what kind of shape he might be in come the Olympics. Can he recover in time and still do something? What will we get from a Let's See Little Bogo? Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Miller Weber will still participate in the 4x4 mix depending on a recovery time. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. Tara just took the lead, win-aided 7 meters. Let me get a quick update on that. Thanks for telling me that all in the game. I don't need, I should put on the long jump screen. It's just because I'm not in my regular spot. That's why I can't do all of that thing. Long jump. Let's see where we are. So yeah, Tara in the lead now, 7 meters. What was the win? 2.6. Jasmine Moore, 698 still, and Lexi Brown 677. So though, and also Monet Nichols at 677 as well. Interesting. So we're into still a few more athletes. No, we're going into sixth and final round coming up next. Yeah, I think Nichols has to jump right now, and then she fouled that jump, so we're gonna go into the sixth and final round in a short while. I don't see Yeah, I don't see many women. I don't think the rest of these women can go 7 meters, so this might be good enough. This is definitely Tara Davis Woodall, probably another national title here for sure, and on the plane to Paris. On the plane to Paris. All right, guys, don't forget to give me a nice like if you haven't done so. I appreciate everybody joining me on the channel. It's been I've been on for 3 hours and change already. We'll be back tomorrow, and lots of live coming during the Olympics and review shows and videos and everything. So you want to make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, when we drop new videos and so on. Willie saying, sports, the world ranking 400 men have Gardner ranked 9. He has not lost a race. He started in 3 years to the other 8 men rank above him. I don't. Oh, it's because he was out for the whole of last year or whenever he had that injury. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. So he is not racing to in the cycle to get the points. That's why. Yeah. Yeah. It's not. The ranking also doesn't necessarily mean the guys are better than you too. You have to race to be in the rankings, and at these World Athletics approved meets as well. So if I'm not mistaken, a lot of these collegiate guys, their times don't count in the ranking, right? All in the game, yeah. Yeah. Uh, it depends on the meet. It has to be official world meet, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Tara having a long winning streak. Yeah, Mihambo will beat her in Paris. I don't think you can beat Mihambo. She's back. Mihambo is back and looking really decent. Yeah. You never know. Okay, let me take that back. You never know what can happen, but my money is on the German. I'm gonna see if I can switch. I'm gonna get another screen here going to get my I want to see if I can see the long jump in progress live. Let's see. Track and field. I want to get long jump. That's the shot put. Let's do long jump. It's the last one. I just want to see that. Yeah. All right. So don't forget, guys, coming up after the long jump here, after the 10,000 meters on the track, in another 31 minutes, I believe, we will have the finals of the 200 meters. And this is Fling going down this right now. Looks like a legal jump. Did she get the green flag? And what is going on at the? I'm glad that I just saw this all in the game. I put on the long jump because I haven't been seeing this. Why are they not using automated measurement in the long jump in Oregon? Why is this guy standing in the track disturbing the sand? I'm surprised at that. Did the system go down, or they don't have that system at the U.S. National Championships? Because they do, you no longer measure. You know why? You know they're using EDM, which is electronic distance measurement, as opposed to VDM, which is video distance measurement, which is what is done at the Diamond League, at the World Championships, and what you'll see in the Olympic Games. So both for takeoff falls and also for the measurement in the sun. Yeah. Uh, I only got I what? Only two got the Olympic standard. What will happen to the third? Did she also get a chance or not participate in the Olympics? Or if only two. Yeah, so if you don't meet the standard, then you could get in on the is it the ranking? Yeah, the world, but it depends on your event, you know. So if you're not up there, then you probably won't get it. Yeah, you just don't go if you don't make the standard. Yeah. Or if you're not in the top is it top 16 or top 30? I can't off the top of my head. I have to check again. Yeah. Yeah. So the key is to make the standard. Yeah. So coming up after this is the uh 200 meters. Okay, let me see what's going on in the shot put. I wanted that quick. So Raven Saunders is leading the shot put right now. Obviously, Raven's coming back from whereabouts violation suspension, and she's leading with 1988 ahead of Ross at 1960, Aquila 1862, Chase Jackson, whoa, 1887 in fourth, Ramsey 1881, and Maggie Ewan 1862. What happened to Maya Lesnar? Did she get injured? She was having such a fabulous college season. Maya Lesnar. Ah, I this is interesting stuff here happening at the shot put. They're in the third round, but the likes of Ewan and Chase Jackson are not in. They're not in positions to go to Paris right now. Uh, yeah, they're doing like it's not fully manual, obviously, because manual is like with the tape, but they just use they did EDM, but at this stage they should be doing video distance measurement. Uh, stay curious is that what's the motivation behind the Olympic standard? Well, because you can't have everybody going to the Olympics. I guess that's the thing. There's a limited amount of athletes, uh, and also for the competition to be at a certain level. So world athletics and these Olympic, there's always standards. So the standards change. So it's harder to come to the Olympics now than it was in Tokyo in terms of the standards. Yeah. There's standards for the World Championships as well. And so they revise the standards, they put it out, and the athletes have to make it within a particular time period. And if you don't, so tomorrow is the last day to make the Olympic standard, if I'm not mistaken. And if you don't make it, then you won't go to the Olympics, because the following week they'll finalize who will be going to the Olympics and so on. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Leinster had a good indoor season, but Jada Ross dominated outdoors so much she made the Bowman final three. That's true. She looked good outdoors, but yeah, I don't know what happened to her. And it's you, the one who told me her dad was like a MMA guy, because I don't follow MMA, to be honest with you. Raven is back right now. Chase has to do something big. She's up right now. She's in the. I should switch to the shot put. I'm gonna switch to the shot put right now. See if I can see her before this goes. Because she needs a big throw. Maggie too probably needs a big throw. So Ramsey's in the shot put. So Chase actually no 2010 for Chase, all the way into first position. So that's sorted. That is sorted. I missed the throw, to be honest with you, because by the time the stream started, right now Jessica Ramsey's in the circle. She's swinging. Looks like a good throw. Didn't have enough height, just probably around the 18-meter line there. But Chase Jackson back on the leaderboard with 20 meters and 10. Oh, I didn't mix it because they're now showing it. So I'm now get to see this 20-meter and 10 throw right now. Ooh, that was a big, big, big throw there from Chase Jackson. So definitely on the team. So that puts Raven Saunders into second currently and Ross into third. Eric P. They don't want to waste time, resources, plus possible boring game. Yeah, that's in the hence the standards. Yeah, you have to have standards, and they evaluate the standards, and we could do an entire show on the standards for the Olympics. Some standards are too hard, I think, if I'm being honest with you, and then some might be a little bit easy. It just depends on how you think about it. Like the high jump standard is too hard for me, if I'm being if we're being honest. uh for men, you have to jump 2 meters 33. 2 meters 33 is up there. That's no easy jump. Women, 1 meter 97. That's hard as well. I think women could be like 195, uh even though they usually go, yeah, but 233 is a big jump for men as well. So I think interesting there. Shot put is on the cusp of being hard for me to 67-20, but I could, I could live with it for men. Yeah, so there is that kind of interesting kind of mix in terms of what what the requirements are. Yeah. Yeah. All right, there is about 10 laps to go in the 10,000 meters. After that, we'll get to see the 200-meter men final that will have Lyles, Arian Knighton, Kenny Bednarak, Kyrie King, Courtney Lindsay, Gregory, Curry, and Stubbs. It's time to start warming up your predictions for who you think might win the 200-meter finals at these U.S. national championships. All in the game. Yeah, high jump standards for both men and women is ridiculously high. Same with the hammer. Yeah, the hammer is also outrageous. The hammer even strikes me even as more outrageous because it's not one of those accessible sports at the grassroots level. So to get like tons of people getting into the hammer, it's you know it's not easy, you know. Yeah. Uh, Eric P. Kingston 13. I think they make changes based on the amount of patronage they have for each discipline over the years. Uh, all in the game. And javelin, field eventers are screwed by these standards compared to the track athletes. No, it's true. And, interesting. Maybe they don't want any field eventers there. I'm not saying that, but I mean, the sport doesn't really love field events the same way. And I don't think they do a good job of marketing field events. But yeah, the field event stuff is hard. Like when you think about it, pole vault is 4 meters 73 for women and 5 meters 82 for men. Triple jump 1455 and 1722. Shot put is 1880 and 2150 for men. Discus 64, as I said, 6450 and 6720. Hammer 74 and 7820. Javelin, you got to throw 8550 for men for javelin and 64 meters for women. It's those standards are up there. And then the 100-meter standard for women is 1107 and 10 flat. I think, you know, and 2016 versus 2257. So it's not, it's there's a discrepancy there. Yeah. Stay curious. I just think if countries only send 3 athletes per event, an arbitrary standard either removes entire countries being represented or encourage doping to meet the standard. I don't know if doping to me. I think. Well, interesting point there. I've never even thought about doping as a standard meeting. I always think about doping as a mechanism to win. But interesting. But Danny, what's going on? Good night. Thanks for being on. This is you're joining in while we are in 3 hours and 17 minutes into the live. But really appreciate you being here. The false start rule, I don't like it after all the hard work. One simple twitch or movement goes down the drain of years of hard work. Only human second. For, we only. Oh, I guess you're saying we are only human second false start. I could understand. Yeah, I have a video on the channel about false start. I will put the link in the channel. This was after the Devon Allen thing. Interesting. I'm okay. I have come to terms with the no false starting thing. I know it's still a little bit harsh, but I've come to terms with it. What I disagree with is the reaction time false starts. So the ability to react, because you can't start. So the current rules means an athlete can't start faster than 100 milliseconds. And that has been proven not to be the case by World Athletics' own rule study they commissioned on Finnish athletes in 2008 or 9. And the recommendation at that time, after that study was completed, was for them to lower the threshold from 100 milliseconds to somewhere between 80 to 85 milliseconds. I think that needs to be changed. So when you think about what happened to Devon Allen and also what happened to I think Julian Alfred had this too in Eugene. So Devon Allen's false start was 0.999. There's no real difference between 0.999 and 100 milliseconds. It's just outrageous to think there's a major appreciable difference between those things. And so athletes, they know from these studies suggest can go faster than 100 millisecond thing. So I think that's what first and foremost need to be changed in the sport of track and field when it comes to the false start. I get why they do the one and done in general because it's a TV spectacle, it's a timing issue. Maybe you go back one charge. I also understand when they say if you charge one to the entire field, uh those who aren't great starters can you know disadvantage others. I don't know, you know but what I don't want to see is to go back to 1996 where you have Linford Christie upset at the false start thing, and everybody has one false start, and the 100 meters should start at 9 o'clock, and it's like 9:15, and we haven't gotten started yet. I think that is just outrageous. Then the one and then the whole field thing wasn't necessarily a fairer solution, but it made things go a bit better in terms of television. That's why, and TV matters too in the sport, whether we think it matters, because part of these even new changes that they're piloting when it comes to the long jump takeoff board to replace the takeoff board with a takeoff zone. That also, I think a lot of that is coming from the broadcasters who always are waiting to see whether the jump is actually legal and going through all of that kind of stuff. So I think how we understand sport is interesting. Sport is also not just a measurement; it's also a cultural phenomenon. So many sports separate athletes by 100 of a second. Some do, track and field is 1,000 of a second, right? And when we can't do that, then we'll make this people share the position. These are the kind of interesting kind of situations that happen in the sport of track and field. But yeah, thanks for saying that. Yeah, you do go check it out when we're done here. More qualified 698. Thanks for telling me that. I think I just saw it in the back on my left there. Let me go back quick to the long jump. So the long jump it's over, and Davis Woodall wins the event with uh 7 meters flat. Jasmine Moore 698 and Monet Nichols 686. So no spot for no spot for Konisha Burks. Monet Nichols doesn't seem to have. Does Nichols have the Olympic standard? The long jump standard for women is 686. Yeah, she has it. This is the standard. 686 is the standard on the dot. All right. Yeah, so that's the long jump there. It's gonna be a cracker in Paris. Still have Miambo starting favorite. Yeah. That's a clutch six. Yeah, yeah. I didn't see it, to be honest with you, because I have the shot put going on here. I'm sorry I missed that jump, to be honest with you. And let me give you an update on the women's shot put right now. So Chase Jackson in the lead, 20 meters and 10. Raven Saunders still second, and Ross in third. So Maggie Ewan will need something outrageous on her sixth and final attempt if she's gonna go anywhere close to that team. The same for the likes of a Ramsey as well. Yeah, yeah, 698.6. Yeah, greater than. Yeah, I think so. I think Moore's jump is bigger than, yeah, because 2.6 win. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on that all in the game. Yeah, absolutely spot on. So one more. So we're into the end, the closing moments here for this 10,000 meter. What is how many? I think maybe 5 laps to go. It seems like, or 4 laps to go. And then at in a matter of 12 minutes, we should have the men's 200 meter on the track, and that would close out the 200 meters at the U.S. National Championships. Maggie needs to go try the hammer again. She's so good at it. No, she is. Uh, it's gonna be hard. She's up right now. She's in sixth position. She's up in the circle, I think. Yeah. Nah, not even 18 meters. Yeah, so that's tough for Maggie Ewan. She will not she deliberately falls, so she will not be going to Paris right now. Well, she might be going to Paris to the Diamond League, but certainly not to the Olympics. This is Ramsey in the sector. That's still on the 7. Yeah, that's also on the 7 meter. On the 18 meter. She fouled that too. So we're in the final. We're in the closing stages of this. Oh, look at this! Kelati's gonna win this 10,000 meters, and she wins this in 31:40. She has the Olympic standard. Parker Valby in second, 31:40, 1:56. And Carisha Schweitzer 31:41:56 as well. Both of them credited with the same time. Kalati doing the whole Sydney McLaughlin, not Sydney McLaughlin, the Sifan Hassan kind of look there at the end. But she won this in 31:41.07. Yeah, what a finish. Yeah, yeah, it was great. Yeah, she's very small, very tiny right there. I agree. Top boy price, what's going on? What time? What is the 200? I guess you want to know the time. You mean when is? It's in 9 minutes. In 9 minutes. Now, how are we gonna settle this, guys? Who wins the 200-meter title? Noah Lyles. Can two people run faster than Kenny Bednarak? Can three people run faster than him? I just feel like Kung Fu Kenny has to be on this team. Arian looked decent in those in a couple rounds, like he has a lot in the tank. Can Courtney Lindsay do anything? It's gonna be interesting. Really interesting. Uh, yeah. Honestly, I didn't watch most of this 10,000, so we'll take you for the yeah. But she looks really good. I think she's only naturalized a few years now, like a couple, less than 5 years for sure. Stay curious. The standard is only about a minute off from the world record in the 10K. It goes, I mean, distance up there. All right, so we had some polls running up, and 7% of you thought Coleman would win, 9% Aaron Knighton, 76% has Noah Lyles, and Kenny Bednarak, 9%. 244 of you voted. Very good, very good. If you voted and you didn't like the video, you probably should like the video. Let's get back to some more. John Jones, how are you doing? Coleman might have the dog in him, but we will wait and see. Well, clearly Kristen Coleman is running for some. He has to. He's doing his best here. He he basically had a major disappointment in the 100 meters, and as such, he has to run this 200 meters because I don't think he was ever going to do this. So we will see. All right, so let's see and get back some comments here. 6 men in the 200-meter final last year ran sub 20 with Coleman 6 in 1995. Can we get 7 men run? Yeah, running sub 20s. It's possible. I mean, I definitely think you'll get it from Kenny. You're gonna get it from Aaron. You're gonna get it from Noah. You'll get it from Kristen. Lindsay will give it to you as well. I think Stubbs could pull off a blinder too. Gregory, I wouldn't put it past him for sure. So, yeah, it could happen. Noah supposedly, no, supposedly Noah loses 200. I don't know. Truth, I'm now back home. What did I miss? A lot. I'm trying to remember when you missed out. Yeah, you have to give me a sense of when you dropped off. You probably would have missed Chase Ely finding a way to, or Chase Jackson. I apologize. Uh, to make sure that she came out of from I think sixth position to get into the leaderboard and 2010 rather to win the women's shot put. That was great. You missed Kelati winning the 10,000 meters in 31:41 ahead of Valby and Schweitzer. The long jump was going on really good. Tara Davis had to pull out a big jump, and she did a 7-meter jump with a win aid of 2.6 win. Jasmine Moore 698, and as all in the game pointed out, that's probably a better jump than a 7-meter jump, given that uh, the 7-meter jump was win aided. And then Monet Nichols found a way on the sixth and final jump to not only get in but also to get the Olympic standard, because I think the Olympic standard is 686. I have to check. It is 686. Yeah. Noah Lyles, what? I don't. Maybe I missed something here. Oh, you're responding to. Okay, yeah. I can't see that unless he gets injured. All in the game. Lanes 3 to 9 should be capable of sub 20. Yeah. Oh, you missed the last 2 hours. Oh, that's a lot of things to recap there. But Danny, the 200 final will be a shake-up. The winner will determine who wants it most. I mean, I suspect that Lyles is in the best of shape. He looked really good over 100 meters. Yeah, I don't. But you have to run the race. But he starts favorites clearly. Uh, I think Arian looked really smooth. I don't know how fast he can go, but the runs he did in the rounds look really well controlled. 993 was like a easy run for him. We know Kung Fu Kenny is in great shape. 1967 this season, and he's already happy. He's on the team flat one on the 100 meter. I'm sure he'll be more. He will consider 200 meters by far his better event, but So you'll get something from him there. Courtney Lindsay is also interesting talent. So I don't know. And I think Kristen Coleman is just disappointed for not making that 100-meter team. And he's gonna, you best believe he's gonna try to come off that curve in front of everybody. Will he? I don't know, but he's gonna try. Yeah. So now they're on the track. They're on the track. Noah Lyles is gearing up. I don't know what he's saying there, but so Kyrie King with the green here. All right, let's see what we're getting. So you have Lyles, Knight, and Kenny. All right. Coleman need to make the 200 to trade with Kung Fu Kenny. Guys look like this is a stock market or so. All right. Aaron Knighton. Noah Lyles. Noah is pumped up. Extra pumped. His mom is in the stand. Let me check the comments real quick. All right, this is we're on to something here now. Lindsay getting introduced. Robert Gregory, the Florida Gator rather. Jeremiah Curry, season best 2031, PB 2015, and Stubbs 1995, season best slash PB. They're in the blocks right now. It's probably going to take 19-6 or better to win tonight. We'll see. And they're off. And really good running on the curve here by Kung Fu Kenny. Noah Eliza's past Arian. Kung Fu Kenny in front. Also Coleman. And Kenny's in the lead. But Noah Eliza's coming like a freight train now. And he's going to win this. And Aaron Knighton is going to get third ahead of Kristen Coleman. 1953 for Noah Lyles. That is a world lead. It is a legal win, 0.5 meters per second. Kung Fu Kenny Bednarak, 1959 PB for him, and a season best time for Aaron Knighton, 1977. And Kristen Coleman, 1989 in fourth. He better hold on to this because Aaron Knighton, if the emergency appeal that WADA and the AIU is doing against his clearance goes into, if a decision is made, it's possible that Christian Coleman could potentially make this team, but that's for a different day. Lyles proves that he is the best when it comes to this 200 meters. This is a championship record as well as a record for the United States National Championships, 1953. And Kung Fu Kenny, clearly in great shape in 1959. Both of those, Coleman and Kenny, came off the curve ahead of Noah Lyles. He had to work to make sure that he crosses that line in first, but in the end, comfortably so. And Aaron Knighton, who hasn't run all season except for these championships because he had tested positive, which he was now cleared from an independent tribunal from United States Anti-Doping, is now on the team as well, and will be going to his second Olympics because he was at the last Olympics as a 17-year-old. That is the team to the Paris Games for the United States. Let's get these things going. Oh, thanks, Dad. Sorry about that, bad Danny. I wasn't seeing the comments. Kenny was close. Stay curious for sure. Coleman, heartbreaking. Kenny getting closer. You mean? Yeah. I think Kenny's in shape. St. Clair is what's going on. 19-4 for Knighton must have been a fluke. Kenny pissed off, which I like to see. I think he wanted to win. I agree. No fluke. He was on the meet. Okay. Will Coleman in the relay pool? Yeah, he should be. I think he's gonna start the relay for the US. I think. He's one of the greatest starters of all time. He's fine for the relay. He's going to the Olympics. He's not going to the Olympics to run an individual event, but you never know. Bat Danny saying I think Kenny might beat him in Paris. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Noah Lyles is saying the USA is the USA. We don't give anything you have to take from us. So I guess that's interesting. We forget that Knighton is still 20 years old. No, he's super special. He was what 19 in 17 in Tokyo. Now he's going to be 20 here. He has so much time on his side. 20. He could legitimately go to 4 more Olympics. Assuming that he still has the motivation and he's healthy. Yeah. Yeah, that was a cracking race. I think Noah Lyles probably thought it would have been easier than it ended up being. But this was a great night for track and field, ladies and gentlemen. We saw some brilliant stuff. We saw a 200-meter women's final that Gabby Thomas continued to show her class, 21.81, and a surge in Brittany Brown, 21.90, and ecstasy, I would say, for Mackenzie Long, who has suffered greatly this year, 21.91. Sha'carri Richardson looked as if she was on course based on her opening and semifinal runs at the US National Championships to make it to Paris over 200 meters. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, finishing fourth in 22.16. But those women that represent the United States will be very good at the Olympics. It's going to be competitive. We'll also get to see what happens tomorrow at the Jamaica National Championships. And when we round that in shape for the likes of Adina Asher-Smith and the rest of the world, I think track and field is in a healthy space and we'll get some high quality sprinting in the weeks to come and certainly into the Olympics in particular. Great stuff in the shot put. Chase Jackson had to come from behind 20 meters is a big throw. The same for the long jump. Davis Woodall getting a 7 meter jump, but Jasmine Moore, 698 in a legal win, probably the best jump. But Nichols finding a way, 686 to get into that third position and also to get the qualifying standard. So healthy space there. Semifinals of the 100-meter hurdles at the US National Championships. Stella, Stella. I can't even begin. I'm going to go to my bed thinking about who will win that race. The same in Jamaica as well. Really good stuff. 400-meter hurdles will be a cracker as well. So a lot of great stuff going on. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Let me get back to some of these comments. Let's see where we are right now. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, like the video. I really appreciate it. Stay curious. Noah is at least running 19.3 in Paris. Maybe faster if he wasn't running the 100 meters. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, he should be in that kind of shape. Whether or not you get that without the conditions is a different story. We'll see. Darren Peters the same. All in the game. Expect to see Kristen clean up his foot strike and eliminate foot placement where his feet are pointing toward outwards instead of forward. I mean, it's interesting. Good technical analysis. They have to go look at it again too. Coleman for sure will be on the 4x1. I mean, he could get this 200-meter spot depending on what we get from the appeal there for Knighton, but we'll see. Kyrie King, who ran 9.97 and 1919 at these trials, ran well at World Relays, will likely be in the relay pool too. Yeah, that's true. What do you think about Knighton's drug tests? I mean, I talked about it a bit yesterday. And I think we got to do some work on this too. I mean, it's just the timing for us to see if we can pull off a video. I don't know if we can. I'm skeptical of all of these beef claims, the meat contamination stuff. We saw it with Shelby Julian. She didn't get off. We saw other athletes get off. Uh, Wilson, or the Swiss athlete, didn't. It's interesting. They'll appeal this. I haven't read the details. I don't know if it's public in terms of it might not be. I haven't checked. I just haven't had the time. How much, what the levels were, and all of that kind of stuff. I think it's in process, but the beef thing is always in. No, the contamination thing is always interesting because the amount you have to usually consume seems particularly large. But you know, he's clear to run, so we'll see. Uh, all in the game. Noah hasn't run faster than 19.5 after running 3 rounds of the 100 meters in the same champs. Yeah, that's a good point. And we must remember, and this is when people always say, can he break Usain Bolt's world record? Probably. But I don't see it at the major championships. And we must remember when Bolt ran that, they were talking about 3 rounds in the 100 meters, 3 rounds in the 200 meters. And is it three? Yeah, because they've changed it up now. Or is it, yeah, my mind is more rounds at that time. And to come back and do that and run 1919 at that point. So I think you can probably do it on a one-off. Doubling is much harder than you think. His execution over the first phase of the 100 meters has to be always on point if he's going to be able to catch these guys. If he gets it right, he could potentially win. But it's, this time it's different story, Oblique Seville running really well. Kishane Thompson, sensational. You never know. If you start us off, you might not be in the mix there. What else? Yeah, it just showcases that the capacity to run those fast times are tough. And, he's him doing the double last year and doing it again this year. It's not really, really easy. It's not easy. The Where am I here? Yeah, thanks again. Yeah, I really appreciate it. We're gonna see you tomorrow for sure. What do you think about what 150, 300 races as they are so many athletes yet to no, yeah, no, I don't think tradition, yeah, that's never gonna happen. I don't think truth, yeah. Uh Kenny may upset the field, possibly. Thank you so much for saying that. I don't see him breaking boat record. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. Well, first of all, let me get this on straight. No one is breaking the 100-meter record. That person's not around. It doesn't. That's not happening. 200-meter record is hard. Maybe he. I don't know if he can break it. Maybe let's see. Tobogo has a potential in the future. But before we get to Bolt's record, the question is for Noah Lyles is can he go to Johan Blake's record? Before you start thinking about the 1919, you got to think about the 1926. One thing I'm fairly confident in, and I mean, if we're wrong, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You're not breaking that record after running rounds in the 100 meters and then coming back and running rounds in 200 meters. You need a warm night in Paris or Zurich or something. It's not it's way out there. They don't the distance between 1931 and 1919 is very far. It's daylight. And then the distance even from 1931 to 26 is substantial too. So there's a lot of catching up to do there. Yeah, so no, I agree with you, Dina. Yeah. Lyle's not fast enough on the 100-meter to break the 200. Interesting. Yeah. Uh, saying can beat Bolt record only generates more revenues for him, the king of sales. No, not breaking Bolt 200, not even beating Blake's 1926. Negative breaking records. Lisa, how you doing? Hey, Noah told the world and the Jamaicans, come take it. The ball's on this man. Yeah. Yeah. Bolt make it look easy, but it's not normal. Yeah, I mean Bolt is I mean, it's the greatest we've ever seen, you know. Most people still think that Bolt could have probably run sub 19. I mean, he didn't need to, but he probably could have. I think if Bolt had focused even on the 400 meters, probably could have run very low 42 seconds, probably. You know, who knows? We'll never know. Yeah, we'll never know. Yeah. All in the game. Netflix Springs doc come out next week. Oh, you all up for this? This one on July 3rd, right? I'll watch it. I'll try to watch it. It's on Netflix. I'll take a look at it. Yeah. But yeah, it was been great, guys. I've been on this live for 3 hours, 52 minutes and change. And let me just get Dina here before I head out. I want Kenny to beat Noah at the Olympics. He's our only chance to humble Noah. Well, yeah, he may get humbled in the 100 meters before that. Who knows? But I mean, I'm fine with. I actually, I have time for Lyles. You know, in the sense that he can say what he wants to say. He has the credentials to do it. He has the medals. He doesn't have the Olympic gold. Obviously, he didn't win that in Tokyo, but he's won all these world championships. He's third fastest over the distance. He can talk over 200 meters. And it's good, it's good for the sport. It kind of reminds me of a little 90s thing there. But, and he's also bringing attention to the sport, whether we like it or not. And I think he's decent guy. I don't think I don't have any problem with it. And we'll see. Uh, what? Bolt ran on talent, not this. I don't know what that means. Bolt was one of the hardest working guys ever, Yeah. Noah not going to hand it over easily. Yeah. Bad Danny Kishane Thompson's the one to. Yeah. I also don't think you can sleep on Oblique Seville either. Yeah. Yeah. All in the game. Tuboga and the 200 is a wild card. I agree. This is what I'm saying. I want to see what Let's See can do because we must remember 300 meters world best for Let's See Toboga, 44 in the 44 seconds and change in the 400 meters. 100 meters need a lot of work. He's untidy there, but he's a kid. But he can definitely run fast there. If he gets the speed endurance right and he's a quick dude, he could win it. I think we can't sleep on him. Obviously, we have to see how good he is. He was upset at what was happening at the African National Championships there recently. He wasn't the only one. Everybody was upset about that too. Apparently, it was poorly organized. But the kid lost his mom, so you don't know how that might impact him. But he is someone that I think is likely to be on the podium in the 200 meters for sure. He could even be on the podium in the 100 meters. So it's interesting. Yeah. Shane is saying, I think, yeah, I think if he is over his mom passing, I think Tobago. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you're ever over that, but I know what you mean. If he's had some kind of a healing or some semblance of closure that can't be easy. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Well, guys, it's been a very long night. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. I want to thank you for joining me on this 3 hour 55 minute and change live. I will be back tomorrow. Still on the road. I'll be back on my main thing next week. Oh, look at that! Good evening from Trinidad. Love Trinidad Tobago. I come there every year. It's one of the great places for me. Uh, and it's just a special place. Uh, Partly my wife is from Trinidad, so it has to be special. Uh, 300 is really running, so it's hard to measure. No, actually, I don't know about that, Eric P, because we've seen it from. We can measure it from Bolt. We can measure it from a bunch of other guys who do it when they're in the high sea, when they have great seasons. We can look at it even from the Bahamian guy, Gardner. Yeah, it's a good measure too. I think. I mean, I know a lot of that can end up happening in training, but it's not off the 400. Okay, if you wipe off the 300 for sure, then the 400 he ran this year is really special. You want Knighton to win the 200 meters. We'll see. I don't know what kind of shape he is. Yeah. They're done for in tonight for in Jamaica. So tomorrow they'll continue tomorrow in Jamaica. They're done for the night in Jamaica as well. Yeah. All right, guys. It's been a long live. I gotta go. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.